The main character was seen as a loser who couldn't get into college. But in the first physical exam, he unleashed a blow that blasted through all 15 one-meter-thick walls. This left the teacher and students utterly shocked. Then during the next test, of strength and endurance, he was underestimated again. Two guys throw down and whoever falls first loses. The guy known for having the hardest head challenged him. As a result, the main character just gave him a casual slap, sending him flying 100 meters and knocking him out cold. It was all because the main character never expected that he would be framed and become a sacrifice to be devoured by a divine dragon. Not only did he not die, but he also activated a bloodline technique binding him to the dragon. Now all the pain and damage he receives is 100% synchronized with the divine dragon's body. As long as the divine dragon doesn't die, he can be revived infinitely. But this made life for the divine dragon, now in human form, a living hell. It was unbearable. Whether she was taking a bath or just fishing, she would suddenly start bleeding from all 7 orifices. To minimize the synchronized damage, she threw the main character a pre-use technique manual. Just as the name implies, no matter the technique, as soon as the main character sees it, he can instantly pre-use it. Others train for 3 years to master a steel-shattering punch. The main character just needs one look to instantly comprehend it. Even better, its power is buffed several times over. Turns out, the main character was the last blood descendant of a cultivator family, but his talent was so trash that it never awakened. His girlfriend of 3 months grew to despise him, and she dumped him right in front of everyone at their company. The department director, Zhang Jitian, after learning about this, immediately changed his usual attitude. He brought a bag of drinks up to the rooftop to find the main character. He thought the director was the type with a sharp tongue, but a soft heart. However, after just a few sips, the main character felt dizzy. A second later, he fainted and collapsed on the spot. When he opened his eyes again, he found himself bound by 2 chains. It wasn't because the director had a weird fetish, but because the main character possessed an ancient spiritual bloodline, making him a damn perfect offering. As a reward, the divine dragon also granted the director a core condensation pill. A human cultivator? Do you have any last words before you die? The main character just sighed, your breath is rank as hell. How about you go brush your teeth before you eat me? The divine dragon was triggered by his words. It took a huge bite out of him. To punish him, the divine dragon chose to eat slowly and chew thoroughly. The immense pain made the main character's face look kinda dumb. His strong desire to survive erupted, and so he accidentally unlocked the hack of his ancient bloodline. Additionally, he successfully activated the forbidden life and death symbiosis curse, placing a death curse on the main character's enemy. And the main character himself became the life curse. All damage received by the life curse will be synchronized with the death curse. Moreover, as long as the death curse host is not dead, the life curse will always be revived. The second technique is mutual destruction. Once this life and death technique is used, both hosts will be annihilated together. Neither has a chance of survival, unless there is top-tier immortal intervention from an outside party. After processing all this information, the main character was sent back to his classroom. Before he could even figure out the situation, a foot slammed down on his desk. The bully threatened the main character, demanding monthly protection money. Otherwise, he'd flick his junk in front of everyone, after saying that he showed off by flash-stepping down to the ground floor. But the main character wasn't about to let him go. He delivered a kick to the bully's leg, sending him flying from the 6th floor to the ground. His face hit the ground, creating a large crater. The other students only found it a pity. If this guy had died from the fall, their rankings might have moved up a spot. But this guy Zhang Jibai practiced the 100 refinements iron technique. A fall from this height couldn't hurt him at all. A moment later, he stood up from the crater, pointed to the sky, and yelled, "Meet me at the school gate after class." Hearing this, a blue-haired guy advised the main character to run, because this Zhang Jibai was a notorious bully. His family was rich and powerful. The last person who crossed him, well, the grass on his grave has been green for a long time. After school, the bully and his cronies were waiting for the main character in an alley. However, the main character wasn't scared of them at all. He walked straight towards them. Seeing the main character's fearless expression, the bully felt a little nervous. He thought, could it be that I've run into someone playing weak to ambush the strong? A bunch of cowards. Too scared to wait at the school gate with all your numbers. You made me come all the way out here. Come on, hit me. Hearing the main character's challenge, the white-haired guy threw a kick, and the main character dropped dead on the spot. You're weak as hell, and you still try to act tough with us. The long-haired guy laughed as he walked over to mock him. That was a kick from a 5th-level body tempering realm. Your internal organs are probably mush by now. You don't have long to live. However, the main character replied, didn't hurt a bit. You can't even hit hard, and you're trying to act like a gangster. The long-haired guy was pissed. You're about to die, and you still dare to show off in front of me. I'm going to smash your head in right now." With a crack, his powerful kick hit nothing but air. The bald guy saw a kick flying towards the top of his head and immediately broke into a cold sweat. The long-haired guy reacted just in time to let out a blood-curdling scream. He fell to the ground, rolling around and clutching his leg. A silver-haired girl had appeared in front of the main character in a flash. Seeing this, the bald guy took out his weapon and used a killing move, unleashing an explosion directly on the girl. The shockwave was too strong, affecting all the buildings in the alley. When the dust settled, the scene before them left the two men speechless. The girl had taken this blow without even flinching. Not only was she unharmed, but she had also managed to cast a barrier to protect the surrounding buildings. The sharp Zhang Jibai sensed that his opponent was no ordinary person. He yelled at the other two to run, but as soon as the words left his mouth, the bald guy exploded on the spot. Seeing this, he collapsed to the ground. He clearly wanted to run, but his legs had lost all their strength. It turns out the girl was the divine dragon from before. She was just enjoying some tea and chess in the celestial palace, but then her body suddenly started bleeding. Using her divine sense, she scanned her body and found a death curse on her hand. However, with all her divine power, she couldn't remove it no matter what she tried. So she had no choice but to come to the mortal realm to find the main character. However, the main character said he had no idea how to remove it. Hearing this, the dragon maiden instantly flew into a rage. She grabbed the main character and slammed him furiously into the ground. A second later, the dragon maiden spat out a mouthful of ketchup. Because the damage is shared, the more she beat up the main character, the more damage she took herself. This wasn't getting her anywhere. The dragon maiden planned to return first, and then slowly research how to break this curse. Seeing this, the main character immediately stopped her. "You ate me last time. I'm asking you for a little compensation." "That's not too much to ask, is it?" The dragon maiden asked coldly. "And what if I say no?" The main character just gave a wicked smile. He threatened the dragon maiden that if she refused, he would repeatedly off himself by soaking in sulfuric acid, causing her to endlessly bleed syrup. To keep the main character from having any bad ideas, she could only toss him a pre-use technique manual. After cultivating it, although it couldn't guarantee he'd become an immortal, it could at least ensure he'd pass the entrance exam for a top university and not have to worry about food. Meanwhile, Zhang Jibai was still trembling in a corner, his head pressed against the wall, not daring to breathe loudly. For this kind of trembling weakling, the dragon maiden couldn't even be bothered to kill him. She used her magic to erase all of his memories from that day. By the time he woke up, it was early the next morning. The physical education teacher was explaining the test rules, penetrating destructive force. On the track, there will be over 10 reinforced earthen walls, each 1 meter thick. It doesn't matter if you're a chi refiner or a body temperer. As long as you break through one wall, you pass. The student who ranks last will be considered for expulsion. The first person to be tested was the bully Zhang Jibai. He took a spear and hurled it into the distance. Boom, boom, boom. The spear pierced through 5 layers of reinforced earthen walls. His achievement was considered peak body tempering for a student. That's it, because the average person at most can only break through 3 layers. Coincidentally, the next person to be tested was the main character. The supervising teacher didn't even give him a second glance. If his score wasn't up to par, he would definitely be expelled. However, the main character wasn't worried at all, because they were just mere body temperers and chi refiners. In contrast, the main character was a cultivator. He directly pre-used the dark underworld technique, palm center lightning. Seeing the main character go up empty-handed, the old teacher mocked him. "Going up empty-handed? Are you preparing for a discus throwing event? Don't tell me our class has a top-tier student who can create objects out of thin air." Amidst the derisive laughter of the entire class, the main character raised his hand and created a crimson-black lightning ball. Then he hurled it forward with all his might. A second later, all 15 earthen walls were pierced through, directly, leaving the old teacher speechless, his jaw on the floor. But what was even more outrageous was that the dark energy ball showed no signs of stopping. It flew continuously towards the sky, finally hitting the defensive barrier before completely disappearing. The old teacher sighed in relief. Luckily, the earthen walls had weakened the power of the palm center lightning. If it had flown out of the barrier, it would have been troublesome if it hit someone. But even so, the main character's achievement was enough to be recorded in the school's history books. Everyone began to think that he was a genius with innate talent, or perhaps a blood relative from some major sect. As soon as school was out, the main character dashed home, because this pre-use technique manual had a side effect. That is, within a specified time, he had to complete the cultivation of the corresponding technique. Otherwise, he would suffer a penalty, even causing a weakening of his bloodline. The manual for this dark underworld palm center lightning technique, he had bought it before, but now he couldn't find it anywhere. Helpless, he could only buy it for 200,000 on Shopee. Then he went to the back mountain to continue his cultivation. After 6 hours of non-stop cultivation, he finally completed his repayment, finishing the cultivation in the last 30 seconds. Just as the main character was feeling smug, his heart suddenly went thump and stopped beating. It turned out the main character had trained too hard, causing himself to croak on the spot. But luckily he could revive infinitely. It just sucked for the Dragon King up in the heavens. She had just finished her bath, and her body started bleeding red syrup non-stop again. The next day's test had begun. This time the test was on striking power and resistance to blows. In other words, 2 people beat each other up. Whoever falls first is considered the loser. However, this was also Zhang Jibai's greatest strength. His 100 refinements iron technique had made him the king of this student cohort. This year, even against the strike of the strongest student Zhao Mikai, once this strike was unleashed, it still couldn't make him fall. On the contrary, he himself was knocked out by Zhang Jibai. It turns out this world has 2 types of techniques. They are divided into open-source techniques and copyrighted techniques. Zhao Mikai's steel severing palm is an open-source technique. It's a technique that anyone can practice. But Zhang Jibai's 100 refinements iron technique is a copyrighted technique. Ordinary people who want to learn it must get permission from the Copyright Bureau. Practicing without permission will result in being held accountable, with corresponding responsibilities, even leading to being hunted down and having your entire clan annihilated. Soon it was the main character's turn to take the test. However, he said there was no need to take turns. Let's just all go at it. With that, he pre-used the steel severing palm. Zhang Jibai confidently met his palm strike. Unexpectedly, the main character suddenly changed his move, pre-using Zhang Jibai's 100 refinements iron technique. In just a second, Zhang Jibai was sent flying 100 meters by the main character, stuck to the wall, unable to pull himself out. Everyone watching was left with their mouths wide open. The supervising teacher also had a dumbfounded look on his face, but he still recognized it. The main character had just used the basic move of the steel severing palm and then added a bit of the 100 refinements iron technique. Isn't that the Zhang family's copyrighted technique? It has an extremely high threshold and difficulty to cultivate. Learning a copyrighted technique without permission will lead to the catastrophic consequence of clan annihilation. Isn't this kid afraid? Thinking this, the teacher immediately turned into a suck-up. He respectfully asked the main character which great master he was from. Hearing this, the main character leaned in and whispered 3 words in his ear, the Dragon King. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Zhang Jibai's older brother Zhang Jitian was holding a picture of the main character, observing it meticulously. He thought to himself, I can't believe this kid didn't die. Could it be that the ruthless Dragon King showed him mercy? After confirming that, the next competition was poison concoction and identification. An evil plan formed in his mind, and the main character, unaware of anything, at this time, was still tirelessly smashing cars in a junkyard. While cultivating his technique, he could also earn some living expenses, truly killing 2 birds with 1 stone. But to repay his technique debt, he still needed to be hit 20 more times. Just then, an assassin called out to the main character. Are you Heitan? I've been entrusted by young Master Zhang to come here and teach you a lesson. At this moment, the main character was overjoyed. He eagerly urged him to make his move. He had been worried about not completing his task, seeing that the main character who had just entered the spirit guiding realm was surprisingly fearless. He who was at the 9th level of the spirit guiding realm felt sweat trickle down his forehead. He threw a tentative punch, sending the main character flying over 100 meters. So he's just a weakling. Can't even withstand a casual blow. He followed up with a series of quick jabs. But the strange thing was, no matter how hard he hit, the main character's face still wore a dopey grin. The assassin's mood started to get a little frantic. He decisively unleashed a big move. 3 punches in 1 second, all of them killing blows. He thought he could finish off the main character, but a second later, the main character revived again. The assassin was stunned on the spot. Because such a fast recovery speed, even a peak spirit guiding realm healing master couldn't achieve it. He immediately followed up with another strike. This final attack just happened to allow the main character's 100 refinements technique to be successfully repaid. After completing his task, the main character began his counterattack. First, a palm center lightning strike. While the assassin was distracted, he combined the steel severing palm and the 100 refinements iron technique and struck a palm towards his abdomen. The assassin immediately flew 1,000 meters away, crashing through 3 large trees before finally stopping. The meridians in his body were almost all severed. He had no choice but to circulate his chi to heal. Suddenly, a red glow emanated from his face. He looked down and discovered the palm center lightning was still in his hand. No matter how he tried, he couldn't throw it away. A second later, he was engulfed by the explosion, leaving behind only the pair of sunglasses. The main character put them on and discovered they were a magical artifact that could enhance his kinetic vision, making it easier to see fast-moving objects. Early the next morning, the third round of the chemistry competition officially began. The content of the test was poison concoction and identification. On each person's table were identical items. They needed to eat all the non-poisonous parts within the given time, and also identify the poisonous items. The final score would be based on speed and accuracy. For calculation, if they could also name the poison, they would get bonus points. Zhang Jibai smirked, because he had already arranged for someone to put poison in all of the main character's items. In other words, no matter what he ate, he would ultimately die from poisoning. A single fishing rod, softly bent against the blue sky, descends the cliff as if starting a peaceful fishing trip. The two Dragon Kings were leisurely fishing with their feet dangling. She muttered to herself, after becoming a god, life has become more and more boring. So bored that I can only go fishing. Suddenly, blood started streaming from her eyes and nose. But the Dragon King's attitude remained calm. The scene shifts to Heitan 5 minutes earlier. With lightning-fast hands, Heitan was quickly shoveling the food from his tray into his mouth. One teacher saw him gobbling down the food, finishing it all in a flash. Qingyan said, "You ate everything, student. What are you doing? Do you know you could die?" "Too luckily, I anticipated there would be an idiot like you. There'd be a fool like you. I strictly controlled the dosage. Don't worry, it's not fatal. But you should prepare for 3 days of diarrhea." Jibai laughed sinisterly. "Haha, you're overthinking it. I put poison in every type of food. This time it's enough to kill you 5 times over." Ha ha ha. When the poison kicked in, blood gushed from Heitan's eyes and mouth. Qingyan turned pale, her eyes wide with horror. The poison spread throughout his body, making Heitan unable to stand, and he collapsed onto the floor. Qingyan frantically called out, "Student." She approached him and surmised, "He's dead." The surrounding students started gossiping, "He's dead. Oh my God, the school's going to be on the front page tomorrow." "What front page? The one who died isn't from a major sect. He's not a top student either. Students suddenly dying during graduation is very common, okay? It's quite common, you know. This is great, I'm ranked 19th right below him. If he's dead, can I move up a rank?" Qingyan thought, "This is bad. This time my career evaluation will definitely be affected. Which bold person dared to pull a stunt in my exam? Could it be that PE teacher? He's competing with me for the evaluation this time." He's highly suspicious. At that moment, an illusion of Heitan stood before her, wiped the blood from his face, and called her name. Qingyan saw Heitan suddenly sit up, and she was shocked. How are you alive?" She muttered to herself, "Since I started teaching, I've never encountered anything like this. Is this playing dead or resurrection? This student's magic even managed to deceive me." Heitan held up 5 fingers and said, "All 5 types of food were poisoned. They were intestine melting powder, 5-pace stumble," and the 3 words appeared on his left palm. He said the last one was air-ending poison. Jibai was surprised and thought to himself, "This can't be right." To ensure there were no mistakes, I specifically found a core condensation realm poison expert from my sect. I had someone investigate this kid's background already. He's a blank slate, a complete nobody. How on earth did he survive? The poison of a core condensation realm expert. That evening back home, in the laboratory, Qingyan was studying a substance. A close-up of the experiment. A green liquid with a flickering light around it. She whispered Heitan's blood sample. "The analysis is finally complete and the answers are all correct. This isn't a poison that the PE teacher, a simple-minded musclehead, could have administered. This was done by a core condensation realm poison expert. It even took me half the night to complete the analysis." Qingyan opened her eyes and guessed, "Have I encountered a monster?" That night inside the still-lit bookstore, Heitan looked at the books and said to the Dragon King, "I didn't expect this kind of communication method." The Dragon King was sitting in a bathtub, looked at her hand and said, "This is your bloodline's forbidden technique. You yourself don't know how to do it, which is ignorant enough. Our blood is linked together. In the future, we can use this method. For emergency contact." Heitan used a pen to write on his hand. "This kind of secret communication among you gods. Don't you have a more advanced method of communication with mortals?" The Dragon King said, "Do you think being a god is very free? To humanity, we are equivalent to walking. Nuclear strategies. Every move is under the surveillance of the Celestial Palace. I've descended to the mortal realm without permission before. If I casually establish contact with humans, and the Celestial Palace finds out, some immortal will come looking for trouble with me." Heitan continued writing. "Then can you tell me where? I can get some top-tier treasures." She frowned. "Everything I can let you know is integrated into the technique manual I gave you before. Just follow the hints." Suddenly, drops of blood from his hand fell onto the floor. The bookstore employee saw this and exclaimed, "Hey, I know the academic pressure on you high school students is great, but it's not to the point where you have to self-harm in a bookstore. Later, I'll have to clean up the blood on the floor." He replied, "Sorry, I'll clean up the blood on the floor later. Actually, I wanted to ask about some books." She asked, "What books?" Heitan replied, "I'm a senior now. If I want to strive for the core condensation realm, do you have any good supplementary books to recommend?" She was surprised. "There's still almost a year until the college entrance exam, and you're already preparing to break through to the core condensation realm." Heitan hesitated. Is the core condensation realm that difficult?" The employee explained, "Are you really a 12th grade student? Your general knowledge is a bit lacking. If you can break through to the core condensation realm during the college entrance exam, that's a guaranteed spot in a top university. If you can break through to the core condensation realm now, then you can directly apply for early admission." Then she took a few books from the shelf and said, "Students these days are getting more and more ambitious." She held up 3 books in front of him and said, "These are the 3 best sellers in the store. If you can master these books, you'll be doing very well. At least." Heitan didn't wait for the employee to finish speaking. He took one of the books, went straight to the checkout counter, slapped it on the table, and said, "This one." The employee was helpless. "Fine, you won't listen to advice, will you? Suit yourself." Then he took the book and flipped through the pages like a gust of wind all the way to the last one. The employee was curious. Such a difficult book, and he flipped straight to the last page. "This isn't just ambition, this guy is a lost cause." Heitan stood casually with his hands in his pockets reading the book. Breaking through to core condensation requires reaching the 10th level of chi refining or body tempering. It also requires a core condensation pill to aid the breakthrough. This process can cause the spiritual energy in the body to erupt, leading to severe injuries. Therefore, a large amount of top-grade healing medicine and fortifying and restorative medicine is needed. Not to mention the huge consumption of resources and money. There's also the possibility of sudden death during the condensation process. After reading, he rubbed his chin thoughtfully. I get it. I just need to prepare a core condensation pill." The scene shifts to Jibai's place. At this moment inside his house, his voice echoed outside. "How do you do your work, huh? You're a core condensation realm poison expert, and you can't even kill a high school student with poison." His henchman bowed his head and explained, "Young Master Zhang, please calm down. There must have been some mistake. Give me one more chance. I'll definitely make sure he's dead for good." Jibai sat on the sofa, cracking his knuckles resentfully. His overall score is now ranked 10th in the class. "I won't allow this thorn in my side to have it so easy. I'll give you one more week. If you can't kill him, then you can come see me." Suddenly, there was a strange noise from the ceiling. He looked up. At this moment, Heitan was holding a sword and breaking through the ceiling, charging straight at Jibai. Not long before, the guard was keeping a strict watch outside. His eyes scanned in all directions. He suddenly saw his colleague's body had been taken down, lying straight on the ground below. The guard immediately realized there was an intruder. "I have to report this quickly." He had just managed to let out a shout when he was immediately struck on the back of the neck by Heitan. After taking out another one, he continued to infiltrate the villa. In an instant, he had taken care of all the guards outside. Heitan stood on the roof, concentrating on pinpointing the location of the sound inside the house. "I'll give you one more week. If you still can't kill him, then bring me your head." He found his target. Without a moment's hesitation, he raised his powerful arm. Heitan smashed straight through the 2 sturdy floors of the house. Jibai, sitting right below, was confused by the unusual noise coming from above his head. He didn't have to wait long. The boy broke through the ceiling and descended precisely where Jibai was sitting. Heitan stabbed his sword straight through Jibai. It pierced through the chair as well. He landed lightly on the chair, with the blade pinning him down. It stabbed into Jibai's shoulder, and the pain made his whole body tremble. In agony, Jibai tried to launch a counterattack, but it was easily blocked by Heitan. He was knocked back and sent flying straight into the wall with incredible force. Jibai's body slammed hard against the wall, making the whole house shake. Just then, a series of sharp needles were shot straight at him from behind. Sin easily blocked the needles with just one hand. His eyes widened, his sharp gaze darting behind him. Sin immediately blocked the feint from the subordinate. At the moment of impact, the man pressed a button on his weapon. A needle shot out from the weapon, aiming straight for his eye. Sin quickly tilted his head to dodge, but it still managed to graze his cheek. Then the subordinate quickly retreated, keeping his distance from Shin. He spoke up. "You're that 12th grader from before, the lucky one who didn't get poisoned to death by me. I was just about to look for you. I didn't expect you to serve yourself up on a platter. That needle just now was coated in something. It's not that childish stuff you encountered during the exam. This time I used a secret family formula. The toxicity is nothing compared to the last one. Just wait for a miserable death, kid." He didn't bother to reply, just shot a cold, sharp glare at the subordinate. The man grew uneasy, thinking to himself, "What's with that contemptuous look?" Shin ignored the guy and charged straight at Zhang Bai. He hadn't even had time to process it when he saw the blade aiming straight for him in horror. His eyes widened. His gaze was filled with coldness and overwhelming killing intent. Haixin decisively lunged. Zhang Bai nimbly dodged the strike to his head. He continued to swing his sword, not letting him escape easily. Haixin suddenly sensed danger and looked over. It was more poisoned needles from the subordinate. The man's face darkened, radiating killing intent as he looked at him. The subordinate yelled, "How dare you look down on me?" He was extremely puzzled. With such a potent poison of mine, he should have succumbed and died by now. But why is he still standing? At that moment, somewhere else, a statue shattered. Back to the fight. The subordinate shouted to Zhang Bai, "Young Master Zhang Run, I'll cover you with my poison mist needles." Hearing that, he didn't hesitate for a moment, and jumped straight through the window pane. Zhang Bai escaped, leaving behind a shattered window. The subordinate immediately unleashed his poison mist needles technique. "No more time to play with you. Let me give you a taste of the true terror of the condensing chi realm." Condensing chi. The needles from before released plumes of strange green smoke. He quickly covered his nose, coughing dryly a few times. This poison mist is even more intense than the poisoned needles. Haixin was shocked to realize that on his body, ghastly blue veins began to appear. His body went stiff, and he collapsed to the floor, his eyes wide open. The man burst out laughing gloatingly when he saw him like that. The subordinate said smugly, "I thought you were really immune to all poisons. In the end, you still couldn't handle my killer move." Another statue shattered. Haixin's eyes suddenly shot open. His eyes glowed with the demonic red light. He immediately gripped the sword beside him. Like a gust of wind, Haixin sprang up and delivered a sharp slash to the man's body. The clay figure on the table shattered, making her exclaim, "Ever since I started using these clay figures to take the hits, I don't have to be covered in blood all day anymore." Long Wang looked at her pile of clay figures a little surprised. However, two of them broke right at the start. "Looks like I've run into a tough one this time." She immediately waved her hand, creating a barrier circle between the clay figures. Meanwhile, Haixin slashed his sword violently into his opponent's body. The man was astonished as he was struck down. "I'm at the condensing chi realm, yet I lost to someone who's only at the spirit guiding realm." Immediately after, his body collapsed, creating a large pool of blood. Haixin approached and checked his pulse. The pulse has stopped. He sat down opposite the corpse and couldn't help but whisper, "Quick, strip him. If I can't use it, I can sell it for cash." Zhang Bai ran all the way to the main road before stopping. Standing by the roadside, he panted heavily. He couldn't stop panting. Unafraid, his mouth uttered angry remarks. "Forgot my phone. I'll flag down a car later, borrow a phone, and call for backup." Immediately, his face filled with anger. He gritted his teeth, silently cursing the new transfer student. "How dare you take revenge on my Zhang family? Just wait until I summon my family's assassins. I'll not only kill you, but I'll wipe out your entire family." Just as he finished his sentence, Haixin suddenly appeared beside him, raising his sword, which terrified him. "Who did you say you wanted to kill?" The sword in his hand slashed down hard towards Zhang Bai. He quickly used the stone-tempered body technique, making his body harder, to block Haixin's attack. Zhang Bai took that opportunity to quickly retreat, creating distance from him. Immediately after, a red orb suddenly appeared, startling him. The orb instantly exploded, shaking the entire mountain range along this road. Zhang Bai was blown away by the explosion, falling down the mountainside. His body fell slamming hard onto the ground below, creating a loud thud. Haixin gave him no chance to prepare. He immediately swung his sword and lunged towards Zhang Bai. Terrified by his recklessness, he hastily shouted, "Wait, I'm the third young master of the Zhang family. You can't!" Before he could finish his sentence, his sword slashed horizontally, creating a straight line. Haixin slashed hard at his neck, sending his head flying. He played with the two red orbs in his hand and couldn't help but remark, "If Long Wang hadn't taken all the damage for me, you probably would have killed me several times over. You're about to die, what's left to say? It's just a bluff trying to scare people with your background." He used flames to incinerate Zhang Bai's entire body. Looking at the blazing fire in front of him, Haixin couldn't help but whisper, "Even though I've burned the body to silence him today, the Zhang family will surely connect Zhang Bai's death to me. Connect Zhang Bai's death to me, whether they have proof or not. Besides, I'm still using the Zhang family's exclusive palm technique. In the future, it will be hard to avoid further confrontations with them." But right after, he looked at the items in his hand with some excitement and remarked, "However, revenge wasn't for nothing. Even though I left in a hurry, I still managed to snag a few valuable items. Just the condensing chi pills alone, there are 3 of them. The funny thing is his older brother had to make an offering to Long Wang just to ask for 1 pill. It seems the relationships between the disciples of the great sects are also full of crap. There's also quite a bit of gold, silver, jewels, and talismans. Various crafted weapons. I'll sell all of this stuff later." Just then a system sound suddenly rang out. Keyword "cell" detected. You might like trading system. Hai Xin was a bit interested in the system before him, and couldn't help but examine it more closely. Ever since I learned the advanced cultivation technique, these system-like interfaces have been popping up one after another. It must be that stinking dragon's doing. This is getting ridiculous. It's just like those e-commerce platforms. It even has a "you might also like" section. Immediately after, his face turned mischievous, then a little worried. I need to clear my search history as soon as I get home. Hai Xin couldn't help but be intrigued. He continuously spun the magic circle that appeared in mid-air. He immediately selected the sell option on it. A notification board popped up. As you sold the items, stunning horizontal saber, poisoned golden lotus, gold bars, and other miscellaneous items have been sold. Your personal account has received Y10544178. Hai Xin looked at the spinning wheel interface before him. His body couldn't help but tremble slightly. A notification appeared on it. Heaven-cleaving saber, while a 1,000,000. Hai Xin found this notification a bit hard to believe. I only made a total of 1.05 million, and you're hawking some high-grade saber for a whole million. I remember magical artifacts of the same grade on the outside are much cheaper than this. He continued to spin the wheel, frowning. It's not that it's too expensive to afford. It's just not worth the money. Let's see what else there is. The wheel stopped. A notification appeared. Storage artifact trousers, WISE 50,000. Durable tear-resistant pants. The two side pockets are storage pouches. Can hold many items. Hai Xin read the information board and quietly remarked, "This is pretty practical." A moment later, a notification continuously popped up. You won what unspent. Remaining balance Y95478. High-grade blood blade. The more blood you lose, the stronger the attack. Swift Eye cosmetic lenses. Increase vision by 95%, helping you clearly see objects, moving at high speeds. Impact-resistant t-shirt. This shirt might be tougher than your own skin. No need to worry about it ripping during a fight. Gecko grip shoes. The soles have extremely strong adhesion. When urged with spiritual power, they can stick to the surfaces of objects. Adhesion effectiveness depends on your cultivation level. Hearing the next notification brought tears to Hai Xin's eyes. Y950,000 spent, remaining balance YF4718. At this moment, Long Wang suddenly smirked cunningly. She stood on a cliff, scolding contemptuously. You think I can't kill you? How dare that little brat place a blood curse on me? Just then a soft voice sounded beside her. It surprised her. Your Majesty Long Wang. The black cat standing next to Long Wang began to explain the way to break that human's blood curse. I found a clue. The two stood on a sacrificial altar, urgently activating a magical artifact. The cat carefully channeled its spiritual power while explaining, I've looked into it. This kid's bloodline is nothing special. His ancestors could only place a blood curse on demonic beasts of the vision realm. Those demonic beasts fundamentally couldn't withstand the transferred damage from the host, so his ancestors for several generations all died young, in low-level battles. Because of that, for generations no sect has ever valued his family's lineage. They have no reputation in the mortal world either. Hearing this, Long Wang was a bit confused. Then on what grounds did he dare place a blood curse on me? I am a deity, the Dragon King. The cat explained very seriously. Perhaps it's because when you descended to the mortal world, the immortal emperor's prohibition forced your realm down too low. Plus, at that time, the kid had an explosive will to survive. An extremely strong one. So it also pushed the limits of the blood curse to an exceptional high. The magic circle on the altar gradually appeared. The cat's explanation continued to echo. However, his blood curse is still limited by his own realm. With his low cultivation at the spirit-guiding realm, the amount of blood he can draw from your total blood volume only accounts for a very small portion. When this amount of blood runs out, he will still die. The cat squinted at the altar below and chuckled. It's almost time. Your Majesty Long Wang, please step into the center of the formation. Long Wang calmly stepped into the completed formation. A connecting thread appeared, causing her immense pain. That thread connected directly to Hai Xin's modern residence. It led straight to his apartment. Inside the room, Hai Xin was sleeping completely unguarded. The thread quickly entered his body. Long Wang suddenly appeared before him, shouting angrily. This blood curse has now been clearly materialized. Then she channeled power into her hands. With both hands, she quickly tried to tear the thread apart. Just then a knock came from outside the door. Long Wang angrily stopped and quietly asked, Who is it? The shadow standing outside quickly spoke. Your Majesty Long Wang, this humble one is a messenger. The immortal general has an invitation for you. The cat beside her found it very strange. Not using a communication talisman, but sending a messenger in person, she also quietly remarked, The one who comes surely bears no goodwill. A noble sparkling throne was before Long Wang. She slowly approached it. The throne was empty, shimmering with a brilliant golden light. Suddenly a voice rang out. Do you want to sit in that position? From behind a curtain, a person emerged. Looking like a court official, he walked out calmly. He said, "It's been many years since the immortal emperor came out of seclusion. It's empty anyway, it wouldn't hurt for you to try sitting there." Long Wang replied, "Everyone in the heavenly capital knows that the one who wants to sit in that position the most is you. Why play tricks with me? Stop the nonsense, what do you want from me?" He said, "You're still as hasty as ever. I came to inform you that your application for promotion to High Immortal has not been approved." Long Wang gritted her teeth and asked, "Why I gave up my territory and my subordinates to agree to the conditions of joining the Immortal Palace. Wasn't I supposed to be promoted to High Immortal after exactly 100 years? The official sneered, "Oh, times have changed. Nowadays, many minor immortals are applying to become High Immortals. If we were to approve you based solely on a promise from 100 years ago, and approve you, the other immortals would not be convinced. I advise you to accumulate more merit and improve your cultivation. Perhaps next time you apply." Before he could finish, she had vanished. Seeing this, he said, "Oh, so impatient. I wasn't finished and you've already run off." Meanwhile, He Miao was sitting leisurely on a rooftop when he suddenly saw a streak of light. He Miao said, "You're back already." That streak of light was Long Wang rushing back at full speed. She gritted her teeth in anger. He Miao was terrified, yelling, "Oh no, Her Majesty Long Wang is angry again." He Miao jumped onto a rock, looked down and said, "Your Majesty Long Wang, are you all right?" Long Wang on a nearby rock fragment replied, "I'm fine, I'm perfectly fine, just a little anger, that I'm holding back a little." He Miao said, "A mountain has been smashed to pieces, and you call this holding back?" She lay there thinking to herself, the free-range period is over. It's time to increase the intensity for that mule. Elsewhere, a rocky mountain stood majestically against the night sky. Suddenly, a red light emanated, and the sound of rustling leaves was heard. Dust and leaves flew everywhere, forming a powerful whirlwind. When the whirlwind dissipated, the figure of a man appeared. Condensing chi has been advanced. Realm, Heishin stood proudly. A source of red light radiated from around him. Body strength increased. Spiritual power limit increased. Life point limit increased. Spiritual sense soared. Comprehension ability greatly increased. Unlocked techniques, artifacts, and materials limited to the condensing chi realm. Please complete the necessary conditions for the condensing chi realm. Condensing chi pills 1-1 high-grade foundation pill. 10-10 high-grade spirit grass. Enemy repelling liquid 3-3 bottles. Spirit guiding realm 10-10 levels. After reading, Heishin responded, "Oh, is that it? It's done." Then he waved his hand relaxed and said cheerfully, "That was easier than I thought." Complete the mission while bearing the hemorrhage curse. Pass through the secret realm within the time limit. After the mission ends, the system will deduct 30% of your cultivation, and 30% of your merit as interest. If the advanced condensing chi realm exceeds the time limit, it will be recalculated. He replied in surprise, "Well, look at you jinxing it. But you didn't say where the demon's lair is." Suddenly, a magic circle appeared under his feet. He said in surprise, "Huh? Wait, not even a little time to prepare. Countdown 19 minutes, 59 seconds. Quickly, the ground disappeared and he was in free fall. Startled, Heishin shouted, "Holy crap, this is intense!" Then he realized he was falling straight towards a patch of huge, sturdy spikes below. He performed a technique kicking off a nearby wall with his feet. Then his agile body clung to the wall before he could be impaled by the spikes. He glanced down and exclaimed, "Too dangerous. That was way too close. Even though my health bar is pretty thick, getting hurt still hurts. Besides, I don't know when the hemorrhage will hit. If it's not necessary, it's better to avoid getting injured." Suddenly, a giant spike shot towards him. Heishin quickly dodged to the side, avoiding being impaled. As he landed, a boulder quickly rushed towards him. Heishin powerfully swung his hand, slicing the boulder in two. Then he said, "Speed strength. And reflexes are all much stronger now. Although the saber isn't a top-tier one that can cut through iron like mud, after activating some spiritual power, it can still sever a stone arm thicker than my waist. These are all benefits of increasing my base cultivation level." Suddenly, a few strange lights appeared behind him. Quickly, countless spikes reached out from under his feet. His agile and flexible body helped him escape. Suddenly, a giant stone hand appeared above his head, falling towards Heishin. Caught between a rock and a hard place, he wondered, an attack from both front and back. Seeing this, he clenched his fist. Then his hand emitted a red light and lightning. Heishin shouted, "Dark underworld fist heart thunder." It immediately shattered. The mountain crumbled, stone fragments flying everywhere, shaking the heavens. Countdown 17 minutes, 36 seconds. From the rubble, he shot out like a flash. Suddenly, from the pile of rocks, countless stone men with swords rose up. He looked at them and said, "I'm in a hurry, no time to play with you guys." Suddenly, he was attacked and blood splattered. He realized and shouted, "Hemorrhage!" In front of him now was a giant, ferocious stone man. The giant stone man attacked him without hesitation. The small and giant stone men attacked him together. Hai-Sin shouted, "Advanced cultivation technique stone puppet." Then he used a nearby rock as a foothold. Then using the sword in his hand, he slashed at the giant stone man. Hai-Sin ferociously struck the stone man, shouting, "Die!" The stone man shattered into small pieces. The stone man was sent flying into the wall, creating a huge impact. Suddenly, a giant stone hand appeared. That hand opened, preparing to slap something. Meanwhile, Zitian slapped Zhao Xiao hard across the face. He yelled, "Wake up!" Slapped. Zhao Xiao coughed up blood, dazed. Zhao Xiao was tied up in front of a strange place. At her feet was a red circle with mysterious patterns. Zhao Xiao shouted, "Director, I just drank a can of Coke. How did I wake up here?" He said, "Why can't I break through even after eating a condensing chi pill?" Cultivation, that dragon. No longer responds to my requests when I make offerings. To my offerings anymore. In that case, I can only request a condensing chi pill from another god, Xiao Xiao said. An offering, don't tell me you want to sacrifice me. I get paid Y to 3,000 to work like a dog, and now I have to sacrifice my life too. When I signed the contract with the company, there was no mention of this. Gideon took out a contract and said, "Our company has nothing to do with you. Look closely. The party that signed the contract with you is a labor supply company. 1,000. Xiao's eyes widened as she looked at the contract. How can this be? Gideon held a knife to her throat menacingly and said, "All right, enough nonsense. It's time to go. Remember to be wiser in your next life." She trembled and cried, "Don't kill me!" "I don't want to die. Don't kill me." Suddenly, a loud explosion sent rocks flying everywhere. "Hey!" Sin appeared after the smoke cleared. He gave Zixian the middle finger and said with a smile, "Aren't you the director? Who loves his employees like his own children?" "Stone puppet cultivation complete," Gideon said in alarm. "It's you. How did you get here?" "Did you take care of all the traps outside?" Hai-Sin replied. "Aren't you surprised that I'm still alive?" "Right, someone probably told you that I'm hard to kill. For example, your dead younger brother. Hearing that the man said in fear, 'You killed my brother.' So you're the one who has his condensing chi pill." With that, he rushed forward with his sword, intending to strike him. He shouted, "Hand it over!" Hai-Sin blocked the sword and said, "Look at you. You didn't even ask how your brother died. Are all the disciples of your sect this cold-hearted?" He laughed and said, "Before I helped him try to kill you, only because his honor was also tied to mine. But now that he's dead, as his older brother, I should inherit his assets." He charged forward. Hai-Sin also quickly charged forward, using his hand to perform a technique which he couldn't block. Then Hai-Sin shattered one of his arms. Xiao Xiao, though tied up, watched the fight intently. Gideon, having lost an arm, slid across the ground. His arm bled profusely, forming a large pool of blood. Suddenly, a stream of black and purple light emerged from the wound. Hai-Sin shouted in alarm, "That's demonic energy." Countdown 9 minutes 20 seconds. Hai-Sin cut Zhao Xiao's chains. She said, "It's you. Ever since you quit, I haven't heard anything. I never expected you to be this strong." He replied, "No time to explain. I'll have the puppet get you out of here first." Then the giant stone hand grabbed her. The strange black energy gushed out, and a pair of eyes suddenly appeared. Next, a blazing red sword emerged from the black mist. Long Yin. She and the sword stepped out from the black mist together. Seeing this, Hai-Sin used his spiritual sense to observe. He saw Long Yin emitting a strange light. Suddenly, his eyes felt as if they were attacked, and blood flowed profusely. He thought, "I originally intended to use my spiritual sense to check her cultivation level, but I didn't expect to be counterattacked." That strange place where Zhao Xiao was being sacrificed was swallowed by a layer of rock. Hai-Sin said Zhang Jichinwile unintentionally used himself as a sacrifice and summoned this being. Long Yin didn't care. She directly charged with her sword. Hai-Sin blocked her strike. The immense force shattered the ground beneath his feet. Long Yin's sword wounded his shoulder. Then she kicked at his face. Luckily, he blocked it with his hand, but he was still knocked back into the stone wall, creating a large explosion. Hai-Sin struggled to move after the impact. Long Yin took a stance, preparing to attack again. Observing her, Hai-Sin thought to himself, "When her powerful slash came at me, I reacted by using the stone puppet to assist." Suddenly quick and decisive, Long Yin rushed forward and slashed at his neck. Small empty barrels were continuously smashed to pieces, Long Wang said quietly. "Destroyed all the substitute puppets in an instant." How could this be? Her gaze grew solemn as she looked down. Is he about to die? Hai-Sin's expression was a little troubled. Why did no one see that sword slash down? It hit, though. His body lay face down on the ground in a pool of fresh blood. A golden circle appeared between Long Yin's two fingers. Suddenly, in her hand, she held her sword, preparing to strike down at Hai-Sin. What Long Yin was aiming for was his neck. Long Yin's blade swung down, clashing with Hai-Sin's saber. A powerful magenta light flared across the area. Hai-Sin blocked with the saber on his back. "You dare to strike me again?" His two fingers began to make a sign in front of him. Unexpectedly, a stone palm rose from the ground behind Long Yin. Her feet moved nimbly as she dodged from her original position. She easily defeated the stone hand and landed lightly. Long Yin's eyes quickly darted to the other side. Haixin rushed forward, his saber clashing with her sword. A notification appeared, Haixin. Blood blade in effect, damage plus 99%. He laughed and said, "Now we can have a proper sword fight." That move, it hits instantly, because it strikes first, before the skill execution is even complete, so I couldn't defend against it at all. An intense battle took place amidst the swirling smoke between Haixin and Long Yin. His arm quickly threw out a blazing red orb. Long Yin nimbly used her sword to block the orb. Suddenly, the red orb exploded with immense power. Long Yin lost her balance, gripping her sword as she retreated. "Her eyes are closed. It's coming again," Haixin said loudly. "I was waiting for you to use that move again." A pink energy enveloped his palm. Enemy's technique has been prepared in advance. Both Haixin and Long Yin were now summoning their power. Heavenly law of annihilation. The translucent pink sword was swung powerfully. Beside it, the golden sword was also very powerful. The two swords began to clash chaotically. Smoke began to rise from the cracked ground. Long Yin suddenly froze with her sword. Blood suddenly spurted continuously from her chest. Haixin's expression remained stern as he watched Long Yin. She gritted her teeth. "Why, I had already prepared an attack on you. It definitely hit, yet you're completely unharmed." Haixin calmly replied, "Look, you're so flustered you're talking like a normal person now. I thought you were mute. Of course you can prepare an attack on me in advance. But I can also prepare my own move. And your defense, at first I was going to directly prepare, to defend against your attack. But it didn't work. It seems that's a technique only for those with a very high cultivation level. So I figured since you couldn't beat me last time, plus the fact that you used a move to slash at my neck, this time when we fought again, you would surely want to cut off my head. Therefore I prepared in advance to defend my neck." A crack appeared on Long Yin's chest. "And while I was at it, I threw in a sneak attack." She suddenly stood up, staring angrily at him. Long Yin suddenly froze as a light appeared before her eyes. A massive magic formation was right above Long Yin's head. Haixin looked up. "This is the punishment one must endure when using the heavenly law technique. In advance." "Ah, Long Yin," and he simultaneously summoned a light around his fingers. Long Yin placed her fingers on her temple. "Why can't I close it?" From under the ground, stone arms appeared, clinging to Long Yin's arm. She struggled. You think? This can stop me from completing my technique." Haixin replied with focus. "I don't need to stop you from completing it. I just need to waste your time." She easily destroyed the stone arms, shouting, "Waste what?" The magic formation had now moved to the top of Long Yin's head. Layers of golden circular flags exploded everything. The ground began to tremble with that powerful breakthrough force. A notification appeared. Condensing Chi Realm Advance has been completed. Cultivation has been deducted. Merit gained must be submitted as per regulations. Cultivation level has increased to the Condensing Chi Realm. Level 3 unlocked. Resources can now be advanced in the system. In front of him, before Haton was billowing smoke and flying debris, Long Yin's arm began to try and grab a piece of rock. Haton stood before her and said, still breathing. She closed her eyes. "I've lost. Kill me or cut me down, do as you please." He drew his knife. "You're not like the others. They all begged for their lives before they died. But you're so calm." Suddenly, Haton swung the knife down without hesitation. Long Yin squeezed her eyes shut, then opened them again. She was surprised. "Huh. Your injuries have fully recovered," Haton continued. "From now on, we'll be sharing a single lifeblood. Let's ascend together." The system panel announced a blood curse has been placed on Long Yin. From now on, all damage Long Yan takes in battle will be borne by Long Wang. At that moment, a bathtub was steaming in a small bathroom. Hai Miao was sound asleep next to it. The water's surface bubbled and boiled. Long Wang rose from within the tub. Hai Miao was startled. What the? "What happened?" Long Wang said softly. "I feel like I've got another blood-sucking leech on me." System notification advanced technique has been upgraded. You can now advance magical artifacts and pills. However, the level of advanced resources cannot exceed your current major realm limit. Early in the morning in a rather quiet building, Long Yin was in her normal human form. Haton looked a bit surprised when he saw her. Baren said excitedly, "What a beautiful girl." Even my heart, usually as calm as still water, is stirred. "Who is this?" Mo Gao interrupted. "Bullshit. Are you hitting on the sister-in-law?" His words left Baren a bit stunned. He trembled. My bad, big bro, please understand. In my heart, there is only Miss Tachibana." "How could there be room for any other woman?" Haton asked. "Excuse me, do we know each other?" Long Yin replied. "We just had a fight a few days ago. Have you forgotten already? Aren't we like grasshoppers? Sharing the same health bar." He pointed a finger. You... It's you. You changed your appearance. I almost didn't recognize you. But how did you manage the enrollment procedures and get squeezed into our class? She said casually. The old tricks are always effective. 2 days ago in Lao Tao's office. I've been so lucky lately. Geez, I just recruited another transfer student. From a drawer, he pulled out a few gold bars. Just then, Lao Tao covered his mouth and cleared his throat. Ahem. Hello, students. The quizzes have basically concluded, and the first mock exam will begin today. For most students here, this will be your first experience. In actual combat, you've studied hard for 10+ years. Now is the time to show the true results of your cultivation. Everyone in the exam hall gather around. Third year Class 1 assemble. Class 2 begin roll call. Class 3 all assemble. Class 4. Long Yin spoke. An exam pretty interesting. Mo Jiao continued, big bro. The entire third year is here this time. Looks like I'm going to embarrass you in front of the whole grade. Hayton put a hand on his shoulder reassuringly. It's okay, Mo Jiao grinned. Really, big bro, you truly are. He continued, I don't need my pride. Just toss it away. Hayton looked blank. A man of vision. Lao Tao began to speak loudly over the speaker. I will now read the exam regulations. Each class has its own examination area, with a barrier surrounding it. This is to ensure that candidates taking the same exam do not interfere with each other. Each candidate must fight the same corresponding monster, and those who defeat it within 5 minutes will receive full marks. If the time limit ends without defeating it, the score will be calculated based on the actual damage dealt. If any unexpected situations arise during the process, Teacher Joe in the center of the hall will intervene. The exam is about to begin. When your name is called, step onto the platform to prepare. Wan Jiakong, 3rd year, Class 1. Guo Fanliang, 3rd year, Class 1. Tang Long, 3rd year, Class 2. Ryuzaki Hanako, 3rd year, Class 4, prepare to enter the arena. Heitan looked down, wondering, why is there someone from Japan here? Mo Jiao replied. This is a mission from the Cultivation Education Bureau as part of the treaty, a peace pact between the top sects. Almost every cultivation high school, except a few exchange students from Dongying. He was surprised. Oh, I thought only regular high schools had exchange students. I never expected cultivation high schools to have them too. Suddenly, Hanako froze, standing perfectly still. Her sharp gaze turned and looked up. Hayton looked down, thinking to himself, her intuition is quite sharp. Long Yin was angry. How audacious! How dare you glare at my master? Only I, his big sis, get to glare at my little bro. Mao Jiao added, big bro, the relationship between you two? Lao Tao began to speak. The exam begins now, summoning the test question. In the center, a dark purple-black abyss appeared. An orange eye appeared hidden within the abyss. From it emerged a monster, with a human-like form and a mushroom cap. The gym teacher next to Lao Tao was shocked. This kind of aura. Lao Tao, isn't that the young guy? Yaojun that was suppressed by the great sects before. Using something of this caliber for an exam is too... He interrupted him. Look at you. Always so impatient. No wonder you're still just a gym teacher. If its true form were here even suppressed, everyone present would die. But the test questions are based on the spores from the Yaojun's body, cultivated into being. Although it's also at the core condensation realm, its strength is still lower than the proctor's. Besides, there are suppression stones around this place, so you can relax. Liu Wan's arms were crossed as he launched an attack. The Yaojun quickly jumped away as he attacked. Liu Wan sat sobbing before the test ended. He failed to inflict any damage on the test subject. 0 points. Next, another student tried to defeat the Yaojun, but he was easily knocked down by the Yaojun with a single punch. The student flew far away. Actual damage meets the standard. However, the candidate left the testing area without permission. Fail, Zhang Shuaiwen, 61 points. Wu Liuan fail, Chen Zhanglin, 68 points. Mu Gao shouted, what the heck? Is this year's mock exam really this hard? So far, no one has scored above 70, and very few have even passed. What kind of twisted teacher came up with this question? Later, I'll go give him a gift. Oh, this is great. If everyone loses face, then it's not like I'm losing face anymore. Suddenly, his gaze stopped as he looked down. The gym teacher was agitated. That's going too far, Lao Tao. Making the first mock exam this difficult will shatter the student's confidence. He cleared his throat. Even a test as difficult as this, they can't handle it. This is the worst class I've ever taught. Lao Tao suddenly stopped talking and looked down below. Hanako was running at an incredible speed, with the Yaojun chasing after her. He was surprised. This student's speed is astounding, but she's running outside the barrier. Does she want to forfeit the exam? Hanako's foot pushed off powerfully as she launched forward. Before her was a tall, large golden barrier. Hanako's body flew gracefully over the barrier. The Yaojun was also raising its powerful fist. Her finger lifted the hilt of her sword to counter the attack. The Yaojun was easily defeated with just one of Hanako's techniques. The gym teacher was amazed. A direct knockout! Just then, the arena was in an uproar. Ryuzaki Hanako perfect score. Awesome. The previous tests were a struggle, but this time she got a perfect score instantly. Where did this monster come from? An exchange student from Japan is at the top of Class 4. Kaku stood above, watching the matches intently. He chuckled. That's just the beginning. I even gave you all a bonus question. You'd better do a good job. The speaker above began to announce. Next group, Lai Junhao, 12th grade, Class 1. Mao Gao spoke up. Oh man. This Lai Junhao guy is the top student in Class 1. He can definitely get a perfect score too, huh, big bro? What are you signaling? Hayton thought. He can't see this system wheel of mine. It's nothing, I'm just swatting mosquitoes. I don't care who's at the top. I'm just interested in what good magical artifacts I can advance. The female students above were extremely excited. It's Young Master Lai. Go Young Master Lai, Young Master Lai is so cool. Junhao was very confident. Young Master Lai is forever number one. Isn't this just a comparative test? I'll prove that among the best of the best, there are still differences. Black smoke began to appear on the floor. A mushroom-headed Yao Jun materialized right before his eyes. Lao Tao looked down in shock. Huh, who set this test? Junhao said confidently, this looks interesting. You think just by changing the form I can't defeat you? With that, he gritted his teeth and swung his fist. Runic seal fist. A powerful punch from Junhao struck the Yao Jun's stomach. The ground in the center shook with hazy smoke. A panicked Mo Jiao. My God, is this the power a 12th grade student can produce? Lao Tao explained. Engraving magical symbols onto the arm can increase the destructive power of a punch. This kid has a lot of promise. He could be directly admitted to Qingbei. But why isn't he in my class? A puddle appeared on the ground, flowing towards the outer gate. Junhao shouted, this punch is a guaranteed one-shot. I have proven that among the best of the best. There are still differences. Suddenly his face darkened as he stared ahead in shock. Both Lao Tao and the gym teacher were also completely stunned. A giant Yao Jun was standing in front of Junhao. How is this thing still standing? Strange. Could it be that my hip twist and shoulder drive were off? So the force wasn't enough. Then I'll just throw another one. The gym teacher suddenly yelled, quickly! Get out of there! Junhao gritted his teeth and threw his powerful punch. But the Yao Jun was a step faster, punching him in the stomach. Junhao's body flew through the air. An incredibly loud explosion erupted, with hazy smoke everywhere. The head teacher tried to catch Junhao in the smoke. Suddenly blood spurted continuously from his mouth. The gym teacher gritted his teeth. I tried to reduce the force as much as possible, but he still suffered internal injuries. This test question is a bit too much. Hello, Education Bureau. An above-level question has appeared in the exam room. Send teachers to assist quickly. The person on the other end replied, please hold. What is the difficulty level of the current question? He hurriedly dispatched the highest level teacher available. From a distance, the Yao Jun ran at high speed towards the two of them. Suddenly, the Yao Jun's ankle was caught by a golden rope. The proctor shouted, you fiend! Are you treating me, the exam proctor, as if I don't exist? Suddenly, on the mushroom cap, a purple eye appeared. Simultaneously, something grew from under the skin on the Yao Jun's back. Sharp spines on its back fell off one by one. The rope that the proctor had tied tightly showed signs of being stretched taut. Something was crawling under the ground beneath his feet. Lao Tao appeared, a bright light flashing before his eyes. Not good. In just a few seconds, everything exploded in a blaze of red across the sky. Above the Yao Jun's head was a fireball. The black spots on the mushroom cap began to shoot out continuously. Lao Tao witnessed the scene before him exploding. The Yao Jun quickly emerged from the smoke. High above the arena, several fireballs were attacking the Yao Jun. Hanako stood like a statue above, observing everything. She was in a stance ready to draw her sword and fight. Kaku stopped her. What do you think you're doing? Hanako replied, going down to help everyone. He scoffed. Are you stupid? This supplementary question was meant to pave the way for you. Just let the above-level questions accidentally eliminate the top students of the grade. That way, the guaranteed spot at the cultivation University of Qingbei will be yours. Hanako continued. Hanako doesn't need to use such despicable tricks. To secure a spot, Hanako will go and tear up that filthy test paper right now. Suddenly, her body froze with a pained expression. A dark, sinister aura appeared all over her body. Phantasm soul curse. Good thing the dog leash is still in my hand. Otherwise, the plan meticulously prepared by my father would be all for nothing. She didn't inherit any of the ruthless, cold-blooded traits of the Ryuzaki family. In her bones, she still retains the fatal flaw inherent in her bloodline. Kindness and righteousness. Father, why did you waste resources on her? At the same time, the neighboring building also exploded. Lao Tao moved swiftly, dodging the immediate danger. He summoned his power. This monster is at least at the 5th level of the core condensation realm or higher. Who on earth issued this test? Lao Tao's entire body was enveloped in a protective sphere, the bodyguard's steel shield. Outside, the Yaojun was still moving nimbly. Lao Tao was shocked. It's moving too fast. My eyes can't keep up. The only option is to form an omnidirectional defensive shield. Suddenly, the Yaojun closed in and swung a punch. Everything in front of him exploded with immense power. The Yaojun's hand gripped Lao Tao's neck tightly. It's over. The Yaojun was trying to exert all its force into its grip. Lao Tao's eyes rolled back in pain, unable to resist. In that instant, a straight pink line appeared. Heitan easily cut off the Yaojun's arm with his knife. 5 minutes earlier, Heitan was still standing above, observing. Maoga was terrified. Monster, monster. Monster, monster. Monster, monster. Monster, Heitan thought to himself. He's been spooked by the demonic aura. That's right, if you haven't reached the core condensation realm, it's easy to be frightened by this fiend's demonic aura. And this demon's cultivation level? Long Yin interrupted. Core condensation realm 7th level. He continued, your eyesight is sharp. She suddenly became excited. No, it's my body sensing a powerful opponent. That's why it's stirring. It's telling me what class of opponent this is. Heitan's finger lightly touched the air barrier. He continued, a barrier has been set up outside. It won't be easy for the others to escape. This is clearly a move to wipe out all the candidates. Currently, I'm at the 3rd level of the core condensation realm. Including the super long health bar, my actual strength can approach the 7th level. If I have another beastly weapon, searching through the newly unlocked weapons. Only this one is top tier, but it only supports advanced use. But this attribute is seriously OP. A sword black in color with patterns on the blade. Weapon advanced vanishing void blade. Heitan was concentrating, summoning a red life force around his body. He continued, in a bit I'll go down. You stay up here and watch for any surprises. I have a feeling this bonus question will have its own bonus question. Long Yin nodded. All right. But these teachers, surely, they can't solve this test. He replied, it seems you have an instinctual reaction to the strong, but you don't sense much from those who aren't that powerful. Those other teachers are all at the 1st level of core condensation. Only the head teacher Lao Tao is at the 5th level. If Lao Tao had prepared well and set up a formation beforehand, he could barely manage. But in this kind of surprise encounter, he's at a huge disadvantage. The sword radiated a gloomy dark aura. And this is exactly my specialty. System notification refinement complete. Vanishing Void Blade has acquired the blood cost attribute. Lao Tao trembled in pain as the Yaojun still squeezed his neck. Heitan appeared in time to sever the Yaojun's arm. Lao Tao's eyes widened in astonishment. The transfer student Heitan continued, there's a barrier outside the city walls. It has blocked the student's escape route. I'll trouble the teachers to find a way to break it. Leave this bonus question to me. He replied, what kind of person do you take me for? As a teacher in a dangerous time like this, I must be resolute. As he finished speaking, Lao Tao was already taking off. From a distance, he shouted, in protecting the students from behind. The Yaojun's entire body was seething. The severed arm showed signs of reconnecting. Heitan said it recovers so fast. In a flash, it's as good as new. This is a characteristic of mushroom-type fiends. They possess nearly the fastest recovery speed. The Yaojun gritted its teeth and began to charge at him. Heitan's body moved back. Its fist has hardened. The Yaojun's fist attacked with immense power. He quickly blocked it with his blade, so it's compressing demonic energy on the surface of its fist to increase its hardness. The Yaojun's entire arm was covered in a layer of energy. Heitan was sent flying by the Yaojun's blow. His nimble body was unaffected by the force. Suddenly, in a flash, the Yaojun closed in. It got faster. The Yaojun stood firm, planting its muscular arm. Without hesitation, it used its powerful force to punch the city wall. At that moment, everything at the foot of the wall was in chaos. The gym teacher was scared. Lao Tao, is that transfer student dead or not? He said nonchalantly, if not, you can go down and save him. You brat, you've always known only how to hide far away. The family of that top student from Class 1 must have asked you for a favor, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have gone down to save him in the first place. The gym teacher's face showed a bit of embarrassment. Lao Tao continued, that kid is certainly brave, but there's nothing we can do. No one here can solve that problem. If we can break this barrier, before that fiend gets up here, we'll be considered very lucky. The Yaojun was continuously punching the city wall. The gym teacher looked down. What a tragedy. He must have been beaten to a pulp by now. The Yaojun was extremely excited, with its own fists. Heitan's palm simultaneously blocked the Yaojun's fist. At this moment, both the gym teacher and the Yaojun were surprised. System notification. Blood King's blood cost activated. Damage, plus 99%. Heitan's arm was muscular. My turn. It seemed the Yaojun was hit by the attack. Incredibly hard. With just one powerful blow, he sent the Yaojun flying. In the hazy smoke, the Yaojun's form was still resisting. Suddenly, a distant light appeared in the sky above. Heitan's sword grew larger, piercing through the smoke. The Yaojun's two hands quickly clamped down on the blade. Haiten stood firm, summoning power, dark brilliant sword convex. At the tip of the sword, a black orb appeared right in front of the Yaojun. Suddenly it exploded, covering the entire sky. A large crack formed in the center where the Yaojun stood. The Yaojun's body began to dissolve into bubbles. The gym teacher on top stared wide-eyed. He killed it. Suddenly Hitan froze and stared intently. The scene before his eyes? The Yaojun appeared in the sky, floating in midair. A dark life force enveloped the Yaojun's entire body. The mushroom cap began to lift off the Yaojun's head, flying upwards. Spikes slowly emerged from the surface of the cap. Hundreds of bullet-shaped objects rained down in a barrage. Haiten stood his ground, looking up. The space within the city walls was in utter panic. Everyone fled in disarray. Run, there's a barrier outside. Quick run in another direction. Haiten below was slowly casting a spell. Then he slammed his hand on the ground, summoning the Stonehead puppet shield formation. He ran for his life, terrified. With it sealed this tight, there's basically no escape. Then a missile flew towards his face, and then it exploded in a blinding flash of light. Finally, a terrifying explosion occurred, shaking the three realms. Gradually, the smoke cleared, leaving behind ruins. Hijia reflexively used his hands to shield his body. He glanced fearfully at the deep craters that had been created. Hijia exclaimed, I'm still alive. This large-scale defensive formation. Who set it up? A formation this large must consume a lot of magical power. With that level of cultivation, it must be someone from a top academy. The severely damaged pieces of land were still there. Long Yin commented, Master still isn't ruthless enough to actually go and save your classmates. Those with poor achievements don't need to be saved. Students like them. Every single one you save, later when you're thinking about which cultivation university to attend, they will all be sharp arrows shot at you. Below, Haiten was contemplating. My magical power is almost completely depleted. It seems the one in the sky must be in the same state. At that very moment, a monster appeared on the city wall. It was large, eyeless, and even its mouth was sewn shut. And then the monster flew up, moving in a flash. It appeared right behind him unexpectedly. Haiten quickly kicked the sword behind him. He somersaulted in the air, dodging the stone creature's attack. And then Haiten landed lightly, bracing himself with one hand. But it wasn't over. It was raising its fist from behind. A terrifying technique was unleashed. Waves of spiritual energy radiated out, and the sword in his hand radiated killing intent, along with shadowy spirits. Haiten swung his blade behind him, building momentum to slash the stone creature. Its face was struck. It shattered into pieces, fading into the air. And then the stone creature jumped back, keeping its distance from him. Its body emitted bubbles in a grotesque manner. The stone creature used its hand to squeeze its own head. Haiten frowned, thinking, after infusing lightning magic into the blade, cutting off its head has become easier. However, the head can regenerate, which means its weakness is not in the head, but hidden within its body. Suddenly, it used its hand to pull the thread from its mouth. A pair of terrifying purple eyes were gradually revealed, filled with rage. Then it quickly vanished from the ground. He frowned, listening. It disappeared so fast again. Then Haiten sensed it and immediately swung his blade to strike. His sword swing missed as the stone creature ducked. It quickly retaliated, punching Haiten in the stomach. Instantly, he spat out a large mouthful of blood after being hit. The force of the blow was so strong that Haiten flew far back. He quickly used his feet to brace himself, skidding a long way. Suddenly, grotesque faces appeared all around him. Finally, Haiten was surrounded with no way out. Annoyed, he swung his sword wildly in the space. Opposite him, the stone creature clenched its fist and punched repeatedly. Haiten didn't bother to dodge. His body began to sustain injuries. He was alarmed. In the end, he's still on the losing end. I thought, this transfer student could turn the situation around, Lao Tao said indifferently. I already said it was impossible. With such a large disparity in power, how could he possibly win? But this transfer student, clearly in such a situation, being able to fight this fiend until now, is already very impressive. His pure strength alone is enough to rank him in the top 10. It's just a pity. At that moment, Long Yin stood still on the wall observing. She thought to herself, hurry up and use that move of mine to defeat him. What are you waiting for? Master Hitan was knocked back, his body exhausted. He worried too fast. It's very hard to catch, especially the speed boost each time before it attacks. Even if I risk everything to go on full defense, I can only block a small fraction of it. The system appeared Haiten 50% blood boil in effect. Damage plus 150%. Haiten sensed it. But the opportunity is almost here. Immediately, he channeled spiritual energy into his sword, making it longer. He flew up, moving quickly. Surprisingly, the weapon in Haiten's hand parried all the moves. He was surprised. He's only taking a stance but not moving. Is he giving up resistance? He slashed through it with heavenly law annihilation. The sword strike, was so powerful it even passed through the gym teacher's position. Suddenly, the space erupted in sparkling crystals. Lao Tao was resentful. I spent half a day without being able to break the barrier, and it gets destroyed by a single swing like this. This teacher doesn't even have a bit of tact, or has he already given up? Heitan reached out and caught the stone creature's mark upon winning. The system chimed received scattered demon mushroom pill. Please complete the process of casting the heavenly law of extinction. He immediately did so, and it reported, casting of the heavenly law of extinction is complete. A surprised gym teacher. I couldn't even see the blow at the end. Lao Dao with this level of strength. Is he really only in the top 10 of his grade? It feels like he could even fight against that person. He turned his head and called to the person behind Lao Dao. The system chimed again as Hai Xin strolled with Long Yin. You have reached the 9th level of the coagulated true realm. She checked the Bilibili hot search, who is Hai Xin? A transfer student. A talent from number 6 middle school. Long Yin reminded him, Master, you're trending. Everyone is saying you're the transfer student, with the greatest potential to cause an upset. Also, some reports guarantee that you'll be admitted to a top cultivation university. What are you doing? He replied coolly, nothing. I'm just paying for my health insurance. Hai Xin tapped the screen. Do you want to grant 30% of the cultivation and merit gained from this training session to the Dragon King? No, he analyzed, right now in a fight. I can't heal anymore, and I can only get a health boost when I receive health insurance. Seeing the card fly up, Hai Xin was delighted. You did it, Dragon King. As soon as the card touched the sky, wisps of black smoke gathered. This made him furrow his brows. Tendrils of darkness were spreading, taking over the sky. It was vast, covering the entire surrounding space. Long Yin was bewildered, Master. This is, Hai Xin explained, the black abyss, a forbidden zone. Once inside, those inside and outside can't see each other. This formation is usually set up when someone wants to kill and leave no witnesses. Suddenly, a large number of arrows shot down from the sky. At the same time, he hastily raised a stone shield to block them. And then the sigil on the spearhead glowed strangely. Immediately, a massive explosion occurred, engulfing the forest. And then she quickly jumped out of danger. Long Yin leaped high, glancing at the black pit. Droplets of dark water gradually evaporated upwards. He also quickly landed on the ground far away. Hai Xin spoke up. Engraving an explosion formation directly onto the supreme suffering weapon. Even using a preemptive endless spell to pull my disciple in. Very impressive. Suddenly a woman dashed past him. Tianhui unexpectedly turned back and launched a surprise attack on Hai Xin. The spear blade swung powerfully, making a full circle in the sky. And then it fell down onto the hilt of the sword. Hai Xin's eyes widened as he observed, then concluded, the back of the blade. The sword in his hand was immediately knocked away. She vaulted high into the air with a jump. Then Tianhui landed lightly on the ground, increasing the distance. He began, this whole series of moves was just to steal my weapon. But she replied, my father said, you are my rival on the academic path. So he told me to kill you. But I don't like doing this. So I'll take your weapon and say that you're dead. But you must leave the country and give up on taking the university exam otherwise. As long as you go to any school and rank first, the people of the Ying sect will not spare you. At that moment, the sigil in the blade glowed. 6-element spirit chi. The system's reminder startled Hai Xin. The next quest for the Cloud Illusion Guide weapon has been activated. And then a dark barrier circle appeared at his feet. Tianhui couldn't help but ask in surprise, what is this? Then her body was forcefully pulled upwards. Tianhui quickly jumped onto a branch to observe the situation. Suddenly, her eyes widened at the sight before her. The strange scene before her carried a sense of unfamiliarity. Tianhui took a running leap onto an old-fashioned rooftop. She was bewildered. Where is this? How did I suddenly end up here? Hai Xin approached and explained, this is the illusory mirror of past traces. It's a secret place where people can only see memories of the past, but cannot interfere. My blade must be related to her. So when she held it, it directly activated the next quest. And the next quest forces us into this illusory mirror of past traces. Tianhui looked at her empty hands. The stolen blade was nowhere to be seen. He concluded, perhaps the original form of this advanced blade is still inside this secret realm. If we don't find the original form, the blade won't return to my hand. Suddenly a song rang out, stunning her. This song? Why does it sound so familiar? On the ground below, a figure with a school bag was running in a hurry. Tianhui ran with all her might, head down, and she pushed open the door, shouting, Dad, I'm home. But the scene before her immediately made Tianhui freeze. Before her eyes were countless bodies of her relatives lying scattered. Tianhui looked at the corpses on the ground, calling out, sister, brother, and then the most important woman in her life was being stabbed through. Tianhui's voice was weak. Mom. Just then a voice from behind spoke up, You're back, huh? She was stunned and asked, Senior brother, why are you wearing the Ying sect's clothes? Tianhui screamed furiously, "What are you doing?" A nostalgic scene from when Hua Tianhui was in the 5th grade. Tianhui was training relentlessly, leaping from one tree branch to another. She swung her arm, throwing knives one by one, and they all flew straight into the bullseye on the target. 3 blades stuck in the exact same spot. Tianhui slowly jumped down, glancing at the result. Tianyu from above praised her little Hui. "Your technique is even better than mine at your age." She looked up and called, "Big sister." She commented, "But you missed one. There's another target behind that big tree, you know." At those words, Tianhui immediately turned and threw another knife. Tianyue instructed, "Are you going to use the technique of throwing a second knife to change the direction of the first one?" Instantly, the knife pierced through the large ancient tree. She didn't stop continuing to throw knives. The point of impact between the weapon and the tree trunk flashed with large sparks. The bullseye immediately showed cracks and arcs of lightning. A moment later, it returned to its normal state with the marks left behind. She asked curiously, "Huh, you can do it like that too, forcing it through from behind." Tianhui reminded her, "Sister, just say if it hit or not." Tianyu helplessly said, "All right, you passed." She looked at the sky and urged, "It's getting late, let's go home." A while later, after running home, she shouted, "Dad, I'm home!" Tianyu patted Tianhui's head. "My precious daughter, how was your training today?" She replied, "Everything met the standard. Even the target behind the big tree. I hit it." Suddenly, the loud sound of chopping wood rang out. Tianhui said admiringly, "Senior brother's blade technique seems to have improved again." "Hua's #1 Long Qi?" Tianhui asked curiously, "Father, are you really planning to pass the iron wall?" "Blade technique, our family heirloom to him." He replied, "I'm still considering it. Although this boy is not of our bloodline, he has been a disciple for 3 years. Master, in these past few years I've observed that the boy is very polite, pure of heart, a good child." Long Qi was always respectful. "Master, please have some tea." "Master, I'm not tired. I can endure any hardship." "Master, it's all my fault. Please don't punish my martial brothers and sisters." Tianyu praised him lavishly, "My good disciple." Back in reality, a bloody blade pierced through the wood. His body was harmed by his own disciple. Tianyu weakly asked, "Why?" He replied, "Why? Of course it's because I was never one of you. I was born a member of the Ying sect. I changed my name and hid here for 6 years, just to learn your family's iron wall blade technique. Now that I've learned it, of course I have to wipe out your entire clan." Tianyu roared, "Even if you manage to ambush me, there are others in this compound. Don't think you can escape unscathed." Just then, a bloody hand gripped the doorframe. Tianyu, her body covered in wounds, called out, "Father," and then her hand dragged a trail of blood along the wall. His body trembled in pain as he watched his child fall. "Tianyu, you beast, you dared to poison my family," Long Qi said calmly. "Our Ying sect has always followed a principle: steal one technique, annihilate one sect. It's just a pity that your youngest daughter, the one in elementary school, hasn't finished class yet. I actually hold her talent in high regard." At that same moment, a voice called out, "Dad, I'm home." He turned his head viciously, just in time. Tianyu grabbed Long Qi's clothes, begging, "Please spare my youngest daughter." He replied, "Don't worry. Hua Tianhui's spiritual roots are excellent. I plan to wipe her memories and adopt her as my daughter. I won't make you wait long. Once she gets into university, I will seize her spiritual roots so you and your daughter can be reunited." Finally, he fell to the ground, breathing his last. His eyes remained open. Long Qi turned back and said, "I've been waiting for you for a long time, little junior sister. I got so bored waiting, I had to kill your whole family to pass the time." At that moment, the bag Tianhui was holding fell unconsciously. She drew a blade and roared, "I have to kill you!" Tianhui immediately threw a volley of knives at him, but Long Qi didn't move an inch, not a shred of fear. He calmly commented, "A flying knife technique, from all directions, specializing in attacking blind spots. In this sect, you are the best at practicing this move. But for someone like me who has mastered the iron wall blade technique, it's completely useless." And then a knife accidentally grazed his arm. Just as a knife reached Long Qi's eye, he gave a faint smile. Then he grabbed her by the neck and lifted her up, just doing useless things. Finally, he furiously slammed Tianhui's head down. She was immediately knocked unconscious on the ground, while he stood over her looking down. Long Qi said, "Heart bewitching spell. From now on, you are my daughter, Long Qi's Hua Zi. I will bring you into the Ying sect and train you thoroughly. Wait until that day comes." Tianhui, having lost all consciousness, knelt and called him father. Then Long Qi lit a torch and threw it. Finally, the two of them left the place that was now engulfed in a sea of fire. The entire scene of the sect burning to ashes was taken in by Tianhui's eyes. She stood rooted to the spot, watching her clan being massacred. Upon learning the truth, Tianhui roared with hatred for Long Qi. Hyson saw her flying towards them and warned, "You can't interfere here." Meanwhile, Tianhui frantically swung her sword at Long Qi. But then, the slash couldn't touch Long Qi's body. He turned his head in surprise, glancing around. The young Tianhui asked, "What's wrong, father?" Long Qi replied, "Nothing. I thought someone was approaching, but it was just the wind." "Yes, let's go, after we get home. The first thing is to arrange for someone to teach." "You are Dongyang language." She agreed, "Yes, father." The present-day Tianhui fell to her knees in agony, crying. "For so many years, I've been calling my enemy father." System prompt. The setting has changed. The scene has shifted from the illusory mirror of past traces to a physical scene. Interaction is possible. Please find the key item Cloud Illusion Guide. He sighed and announced, "The setting has changed again. This is the actual current scene of your home. Try to find something to take back as a memento." Tianhui requested, "Use your divine sense to probe below. It seems there's something there, but it's buried quite deep." Haixin used a spell, "Let me help you dig it up." Suddenly, a giant stone hand emerged from the ground. It slowly opened up, revealing a sword and a book inside. Tianhui was stunned. "Isn't this your blade?" He replied, "No." Haixin picked up the sword. "It's yours." She took it, wondering why. Haixin explained, "This blade was left by your father. It's also what will guide you to find your true self. It was always meant to be yours. There's also a blade manual here. Your father probably left this too." She picked it up and looked. This blade technique specializes in countering the iron wall blade technique. But he glanced at her hesitant expression. "What's wrong?" Tianhui explained, "This technique is extremely difficult. It would take 15 years to master just the first level, but I can't wait that long anymore. Even if I could wait, Long Qi would soon realize I've changed." His words startled her. "You don't have to wait." Tianhui hurriedly asked, not understanding, "What do you mean?" Haixin tapped her on the temple. Tianhui felt the moves and mental techniques continuously pouring into her mind. He asked, "Have you advanced to Hua Tianhui?" The comprehension of the world-breaking blade technique system. The repayment process for the world-breaking blade technique will be completed by you. During this process, 30% of the cultivation and merit you receive will be paid to Haixin as interest. She was surprised. "What is this?" Haixin instructed. "This is the system's main page. As long as you accept my advance, you'll see this. If you don't accept paying me interest, you can cancel the advance." Immediately, Tianhui knelt down and bowed. "Master, please accept this disciple's bow." Haixin smiled and said, "Get up quickly. I'll accept you as my disciple, since you've just become one. I don't have anything valuable to give you. I'll give you a set of Taoist robes later." Advance quest, Cloud Illusion Guide complete. Hanako stopped looking. The sun is peeking over the mountains. She looked down at the blood curse on the back of her hand. Then she recalled something. She remembered Haixin's words. "Now that you have this blood curse, from now on you and I are master and disciple. We share the same health bar. From now on, any damage you take, I, your master, will bear it for you. Remember, this blade has a blood boil effect. The more you're injured, the stronger your attacks become." Suddenly, a voice called out, "Huazi, what are you spacing out for?" Kaku beside her added, "Father is talking to you." The sect master sitting opposite said, although during the examination, Huazi revealed some character flaws. Luckily, she knew to turn back and kill the one who stood in her way. She even managed to bring back the treasured blade for me. Truly, my daughter, it wasn't in vain that I put so much effort into raising you all these years, Hanako said seriously. There's something I don't understand that I'd like to ask you. Kaku, kneeling beside her, found this strange and warned. Hey, why aren't you using honorifics? Where are your manners? Hanako ignored him and continued. Do the things you do live up to the words above your head? The sect master stared at her and said, What do you mean? Are you questioning my principles as a person all this time? She seriously tied up her hair and said, Is your so-called righteousness all about chanting benevolence, righteousness, propriety, wisdom, and faith all day? But behind the scenes, you're always stealing and robbing, murdering, committing arson, and wiping out entire families. Kaku stood up in a panic and said, What are you talking about? Father does everything for our sect. As she finished her bun, she said, proficient in minor etiquette but lacking in great righteousness. Obsessed with trivial details but devoid of morality. Moon hairpin supreme grade reduces essence consumption when casting spells. She continued seriously, focusing only on trivial details while disregarding honor, only fearing authority, and not knowing how to cherish virtue. Horseface skirt. Supreme grade increases the power of spirit ki-based moves by 30%. Automatically absorbs spirit chi to self-repair. A few green wisps of wind appeared in Hanako's hand. She said, The weak are dominated and forced to submit. The sword on the table trembled. Then it immediately flew into her hand. Hanako said angrily, The strong will inevitably manipulate. Suddenly Kaku rushed from nowhere, intending to strike her. He shouted, You treacherous traitor! Today I will eliminate you on behalf of Father. Hanako swung her leg back and kicked him hard in the face, sending Kaku flying out the window, creating a large hole. The sect master said, It seems you've somehow found out something. Then I don't need to pretend anymore. After speaking, he frowned and shouted, Guards! A group of armed men ran in. He ordered the men, attack. Immediately, the group charged aggressively at her. One man slashed at Hanako. She quickly backed away, dodging it. Then she used the sword in her hand to block his next blow. Hanako quickly lifted her leg and kicked his bald head, distorting his face. After this one, the next one advanced, pointing his sword straight at her face. Hanako quickly dodged. Then she drew her sword and slashed across his body, sending blood flying. Shurikens were continuously thrown at her. Hanako agilely dodged and parried with her sword, causing one of the thrown shurikens to bounce back and hit one of the men, making him spit blood and collapse on the floor, to the astonishment of his comrades. Suddenly, Hanako jumped into the crowd. They were surprised and wary of her. One shouted, "What the hell? She just jumped right in? Everyone get her, cut her down." The whole group quickly raised their weapons and slashed at her. Hanako stood calmly in the middle of the crowd, observing. One man slashed down from above. She used the sword in her hand to block it. Then several others pinned her down. One of them said, "A little more, pin her down." The other's surprise attack is about to pierce through her. Then a man with a spear quickly charged at Hanako. Seeing this, she shouted, "Iron wall!" Shimmering light. A powerful bolt of lightning shot out from her every step, sending the attackers flying back in pain. She leaped straight up to the ceiling, blasting a large hole in the roof. The man with the spear looked up, searching for her. He asked in confusion, where did she go? Then a sword stroke slashed down, splitting both his spear and his body in two. She landed on the ground. Seeing this, another man charged from behind her. He was quickly cut down. Then she glided past each person, slashing without hesitation. Blood sprayed everywhere. The remaining men shouted, "What kind of joke is this? So many of us are losing to one. Woman, hold the formation. Don't let her break it." Seeing this, Ming-Tai said, "These idiots, do they think they can win with numbers alone?" Even though this girl was picked up by the sect master from outside and didn't inherit the sect master's martial talent. But when it comes to aptitude, with blades and swords in the sect, she must be ranked at the top. Unless our Ying sect's 3 swordsmen step in, this girl won't stop. Shensho laughed and said, "Good point, so why don't you go? You've been hiding on the side watching the show for so long." The man Ming-Tai replied, "You think I'm stupid? All 3 swordsmen are here watching the show. There's no way I'm rushing in to be cannon fodder for someone else. Besides, my quick draw is decided in an instant. Of course, I have to wait for her to show an opening." When all the men were lying in pools of blood, Hanako was also exhausted, panting and leaning on her sword. Ming-Tai quickly noticed this. He thought to himself, "She's exhausted. Perfect chance." Then he drew his sword. He quickly rushed forward, slashing past her like the wind. Hanako realized something but couldn't dodge in time. Immediately, another man rushed in, slashing at her neck. Far away, Long Yin noticed and said, "That girl's breathing is getting weaker." Then she turned to ask Haishin, "Aren't you going to help her?" He replied, "I didn't expect you to care about whether she lives or dies. I thought you'd resent her. I thought that you would resent her. After all, you were trapped by her formation for a long time." Long Yin said, "Humph, that trivial little formation. I could escape it without breaking a sweat. After escaping, I couldn't find either of you. I thought you betrayed me and ran away." Then Haishin cast a spell with his hand, saying, "Help. Of course I have to help." Then immediately the building where Hanako was fighting was surrounded by a golden barrier, Golden Light Fortress. The rectangular golden barrier surrounded it, leaving no one out. Long Yin asked, "When you said you'd help, you meant trapping all the Ying sect members inside. Doesn't that mean you've trapped Hua Tianhui in there too?" Haishin replied hesitantly, "It's fine. After all, she has long... Aha, I'm taking the hits for her. Plus the blood boil effect. I trust Tianhui. If things get too bad, I'll step in. We must ensure no one escapes to get revenge. We have to clean it up from the roots." Hanako was hit and lay on the ground in a pool of blood. Seeing this, Ming-Tai sheathed his sword and said smugly, "One strike is all it takes. That's all she's got." Then, Hanako trembled, using her sword to shakily get back up. Ming-Tai saw this, and his face contorted with anger as he yelled, "How is she still alive? I clearly sliced her neck." He recalled the moment before. She had used her own sword to block it, at the last second. He said, "It seems that reflexive block saved your life. Lucky you, but I won't let you off this time." With that, his eyes turned red and he rushed towards Hanako, slashing past her. She cast a spell with her hand, shouting, "Spirit Chi control," dodging and countering his attack. This blow shattered the wooden floor, sending splinters flying everywhere. Ming-Tai climbed up, slashing through the wooden planks blocking his way. He said furiously, "You think these cheap tricks can stop me?" Blood boil activated. Damage plus 30%. Hanako charged from behind, swinging her sword, and said calmly, "I can't stop you, but I can make you draw your sword first." Suddenly, another sword blocked hers. Hanako was surprised. The man laughed and said, "Even without the advantage of a quick draw, my speed is still enough to resist." Seeing this, she shouted, "World-breaking blade technique." This move of hers quickly broke free from Ming Tai's block. Finally, she left a long gash on his body. Blood sprayed everywhere. On the ground was a severed arm, along with a system notification. Quest progress. After using world-breaking blade technique in combat. World-breaking blade technique. 1-5. World-breaking blade technique consumes a large amount of spirit ki. When successfully blocking, it will bypass the opponent's defense and slash directly at the enemy behind the weapon. Current spirit chi is too low. To continue using world-breaking blade technique, please wait for spirit ki to recover. Seeing Tianhui finish off the guy, Ming Tai walked over and taunted, "Well, the weakest one is down." Walking beside him, Shen Xiu wondered, the sword used to block is still intact. How did she manage to cut the person behind the sword? After asking, he thought with a piercing gaze, it's only been a few days, but her cultivation has improved by leaps and bounds to this extent. If it were before Ming Tai's quick draw, would have been enough to kill her several times over. Standing in front, Ming Tai turned his head and said, "Let's go together." "Hey, it's not that I'm not confident. I just think the credit for eliminating her should be shared equally among everyone." Shen Xiu excitedly drew his sword and agreed. "You go first. I'll cover you from behind." Then he swung his blade, creating a massive gust of wind. Void-shattering slash. The blade rush was quickly dodged neatly by Tianhui. Nearby Ming Tai treacherously moved in for a surprise attack. Extremely sharp Tianhui moved quickly, blocking the blow with her sword. Then he struck a blow that sent Tianhui flying into the wall, creating a huge impact. From that collision, a dark figure flew out. It was Tianhui. She controlled her descent and slowly landed on the ground. Then Tianhui looked down at the sword she was holding. She thought, the sword is so heavy. Suddenly realizing something, her eyes widened in shock. Right beside Tianhui, Ming Tai had already slashed with his sword. Then he stood to one side and swung again, then smiled arrogantly. Tianhui was caught off guard and hit, sending her sword flying. Another slash came at her. She risked it, charging with her bare power-infused hands. Spirit ki control. She powerfully grabbed his blade with one hand. The magnificent scene sent dirt flying everywhere. Tianhui was pushed down with increasing force until she was kneeling on the ground. She grimaced. The pressure on this blade. Suddenly a slash from nowhere, aimed straight for Tianhui's stomach. She didn't notice it, and was sent flying in astonishment. Seeing this, Ming Tai looked at Shen Xiu with a satisfied smile. "So cruel, you cut her in half." Shen Xiu replied with a calm expression, "Hurry up and give her another slash, cut her head off to be sure." Hearing this, Ming Tai walked over to Tianhui's body with his sword. He slashed down without hesitation, but she sensed it and jumped away. Sensing it, he looked up confused. Huh? Then he became suspicious. How can she still stand up? Looking at her wound and her clothes returning to their original state, he said loudly, "Not just the wound, her clothes are mending too." Then Ming Tai stood in a corner dazed. A fatal wound almost cut in half, healed in the blink of an eye. This healing art. Can someone in the coagulated, true realm control this? Tianhui raised her hand, creating a magical force. Her sword quickly reappeared in her hand. She stepped forward confidently as the system prompt appeared. Blood boil activated. Damage plus 80%. Tianhui's feet gripped the ground, gathering power. Faced with this sight, Ming Tai's body began to tremble. What the hell? Why did I just subconsciously take a step back? She just has some healing tricks that are a little better than most, that's all. Mustering up his courage, the man charged forward with his sword. Anyway, you can't withstand my blade. As long as I take your head, then all your healing techniques will be useless. Not giving up, Tianhui swiftly parried the blow with her saber. The two clashing slashes radiated a powerful force. Shen Yu, standing nearby, began to worry. She was hit by a void-splitting slash right across her body. And she can still keep fighting. Now she can even fight. With a saber in one hand, sensing trouble, the man slowly drew his sword. This little brat gets stronger the more she fights. I have to take her down quickly. Sword in hand, Shen Yu rushed towards the other two at high speed. A continuous void-splitting slash split the ground in two. From a distance, 3 powerful slashes came flying, one after another. Upon seeing this, Ming Tai shouted in alarm, "Are you trying to slice me up too?" Shen Yu sneered in response. "The sect will forever remember your sacrifice." Unwilling, Ming Tai leaped high into the air. "Like hell, I'm gonna be your meat shield." But he was immobilized by Tianhui's power. She stood below looking at him with cold eyes. "Where do you think you're going?" Then Tianhui used her magic to move Ming Tai's body to block the 3 slashes. Immediately after, he was annihilated, leaving only a trail of blood. Over on Shen Yu's side, he saw a dense cloud of smoke and splattered blood. Gradually, the smoke cleared, revealing the blood-soaked ground. Shen Yu was surprised. She disappeared, he thought. But with a quick reflex, he swung a horizontal slash to his right towards Tianhui. "Over here, huh? Gotcha." She bent backwards, swiftly dodging the attack. Then Tianhui skillfully landed on her hands. The system announced spiritual energy restored. Stance-breaking saber technique can now be used. Receiving the news, she charged in to fight Shen Yu using the stance-breaking saber technique. At this point, Shen Yu was still managing a smirk. You really know how to take a punch. But when it comes to swordsmanship, I'm not... Before he could finish his sentence, Tianhui used her saber to shatter his sword blade. Then her saber sliced down the middle of Shen Yu's head. Only then did he finish his word, bad. With a sharp glare, Tianhui unhesitatingly split him in two. Blood gushed out like water. Tianhui swung her saber forcefully. System notification. Mission progress. After pre-using stance-breaking saber technique is 2 out of 5. Then she turned her head to look at something. Standing on the rooftop, Longqi clapped and praised, "Excellent, excellent." He added, "You've been progressing like a whirlwind lately. Your father is extremely pleased." Tianhui's face darkened and she gritted her teeth. "Longqi?" Then she leaped up, preparing to finish him off too. "You're disgusting." Just as she swung her saber, Longqi simply raised a thin sword and blocked it effortlessly. Then Tianhui's saber blade fell off. Following the blade, she also fell to the ground. Surrounding Longqi were many sharp blades. Tianhui knelt opposite him, saber in hand. Wary but determined, she couldn't beat Longqi, who smiled confidently. "Back then, I comprehended the Iron Wall saber technique. While you were still learning, I annihilated your entire family. It was truly a wise decision. That way, only I have a sole mastery of this ultimate skill." Tianhui's face darkened with tension. "That grin of yours is about to split your face," he asked disdainfully. "Oh, so what?" She gritted her teeth, staring at him with resentment. "You'd better keep that hideous smile on your face. Otherwise, when I slice your head open along that line, I might miss." She moved so fast the ground cracked, and instantly, Tianhui appeared in front of him. The two powers clashed fiercely, and just like that, the battle moved all over the place. Dust and rocks flew everywhere. Longqi's blades moved continuously, getting sharper. Although Tianhui was slashed and bleeding from many places, she remained fearless, relentlessly attacking. He stood within the protective circle of his blades and sneered. "This automatic defensive blade formation only costs me a little bit of magic power. Even if you risk your life, you won't even be able to scratch a single hair on my head. The harder you attack, the more seriously you'll be injured. Let's see how long you can last." With a determined gaze, Tianhui charged forward. Stance-breaking saber technique. The two blades from opposing sides clashed violently. She quickly broke through his defensive layer. Her blade gradually touched Longqi's body, but then he smiled and blocked it effortlessly. The system reported mission progress after pre-use of stance-breaking saber technique is 3 out of 5. Longqi lowered his head, a glint in his eye. "As expected, that move of yours can only penetrate one layer of defense." Then Longqi's protective ring of blades spun faster. "I've been watching you from the start. I saw through all your moves long ago." Instantly, a barrage of blades flew towards her, slashing at Tianhui repeatedly. Finally, the space fell silent. Tianhui lay on the ground in a pool of blood. She lay still, face up to the sky, motionless. The image of her face appeared in a teacup. A black cat stirred the tea and said, "Hey, your new little bloodsucker is about to kick the bucket." Then it jumped in surprise. It looked innocently at the Dragon King. "Are you bleeding?" And she snapped back. "It's just a little blood, don't overreact." Looking at her pale, anemic body, it panicked. "This isn't a little, it's a ton." The two sat opposite each other. The cat continued. "Honestly, I know you're using that kid, but you're taking so many hits for him and his disciples. So much. I won't believe it if you don't have some grand scheme." The Dragon King gave an amused smile. "Heaven's secrets cannot be revealed." Back on the battlefield, Longqi's face was stunned. Tianhui, covered in wounds, stood up confidently and looked at him. "What's with that expression?" "I told you to keep that wide grin." He was still unafraid, smiling brightly. "This time I'll definitely chop you into minced meat." The system stats reported. Blood boil activated, damage plus 1705. Tianhui's saber gradually created a gust of wind, causing rocks to fly up and surround her. Her face darkened. She gripped her saber and charged forward at an insane speed. This time she broke through his first layer of defense. With a flash of lightning, she appeared before Longqi, but another protective layer blocked her. Longqi was still smiling brightly. Then he held his power-infused sword, preparing to attack. Die. But then, Tianhui's saber broke through the remaining protective layer. It quickly slashed straight into Longqi's mouth. He was shocked. "What? You got a second one?" Tianhui slashed his head horizontally with a cold expression. "I told you. I would definitely slice open that disgusting mouth of yours." Instantly, a powerful gust of wind rushed in. She shouted, "Stance-breaking saber technique, double ensemble." His head was severed and the force of the attack blasted backwards. After the battle, sunlight shone on the wreckage. The mission notification appeared. Mission after pre-using stance-breaking saber technique is complete. 5 out of 5. Longqi lay in a pool of blood, Behind him was a scene of ruin and destruction. Long Chi's son hid behind a nearby wall, witnessing everything. He thought in terror. Father's iron wall saber technique was supposed to be an absolute defense. How could Huazi shatter it? Instantly, Longju turned and fled for his life. Anyway, I'm the sect master now. He laughed happily as he ran. Wait until I get out, and go to the main sect headquarters far away to get help. Then I'll come back and take your head. It doesn't matter if you're Huazi or Hua Tianhui. As he was running, a strange power appeared beneath his feet. Without realizing, Longju still thought, as you people would say, as long as the Green Mountains are there, there's no need to worry about firewood. As soon as the foolish words left his mouth, a sealing circle appeared beneath Longju's feet. Slaughter trap. Then a fiery vortex appeared, reaching for the sky. A system notification appeared. The Long Chi family of the Ying sect has been wiped out. Hua Tianhui's mission after pre-use has been completed. Tianhui stood watching the flames engulf the building in front of her. The knot in her heart had been untied. Father, mother, sisters, I've avenged you all. The wind rustled the leaves, making them dance in the sky. Heitan gave her a thumbs up. Tianhui, great job. An announcement sounded. 30% of the cultivation and merit earned from this mission has been paid to Heitan. Hua Tianhui's cultivation has broken through to the core condensation. Realm 9th level. Heitan's current cultivation realm has reached its limit. Can now pre-use the golden core realm. Tianhui fiddled with her torn skirt. Master, this Dharma robe can't self-repair anymore. He held up 2 fingers and spiritual energy flowed out. It's fine. It's just because the spiritual energy in your body is too weak right now. I've opened shop access for you. You can get a new set on advance. She turned to access the shop. Yes, thank you, Master. A moment later, she chose a new outfit. I'll take this set. The style is similar and the attributes are almost the same. Suddenly, Tianhui hesitated, her voice stammering as she scratched her cheek. But after getting it on advance, I have to pay back 500,000 RMB. I can't afford that. He reassured her, it's fine. Before you burn down the Long Chi family's house, I already collected almost all of their assets. You can just use their inheritance to pay for it. Suddenly, the hairs on Heitan's neck stood on end. He took a sharp breath. The hairs on my neck are standing up. There's killing intent. Long Yin glared at him, radiating killing intent. Master, you're playing favorites with junior sister way too much. I became your disciple first, so how come I don't get anything? He quickly turned to placate her. Calm down, calm down. I'm giving you an advance right now. Hearing this, she was satisfied. That's more like it. He asked, what do you want to upgrade cultivation equipment techniques? She clenched her fist. Her muscles bulged. Only kids have to choose, I'll take them all. Hearing her answer, he said loudly. A stream of spiritual energy appeared on his fingertip. Pre-use upgrade twin feather greatsword. The system interface appeared before Long Yin. Oh, I can see this system interface too. Before her was a prompt, twin feather greatsword has been upgraded. Please complete the mission within 1 week. After completing the mission, your cultivation equipment and techniques will be upgraded. If you wish to start the mission, please press the button to be transported to the corresponding secret realm. She selected the yes button. Heitan spoke up. Hey, are you leaving right now? Aren't you going to take the second exam? Long Yin said impatiently. What's there to think about? It's not a real college entrance exam. As long as Master can lead me to ascend in the end, I don't care about what happens in the middle. Instantly she vanished, leaving only a few specks of light. Tianhai exclaimed. Senior sister is so cool. Heitan looked at his phone. Let her be. The school just sent a notification, telling us to go get our admission tickets for the second mock exam. The scene shifts to Qingyun. She looked a little annoyed seeing the two of them. Why are you two only showing up now, the other students? Got theirs a week ago. He explained. I had too many makeup classes, my head was spinning, so I forgot. Where's the exam room? She continued. There's a magic seal engraved on the card. Activate it with your magic power and you'll be transported directly to the exam site. He marveled. Oh, pretty high tech. Qingyan crossed her arms. You really shone in the last mock exam. You stood out even more than the top students of the school. Your overall rank shot straight to number 1. He laughed while scratching his head. Haha, that was just luck. Just luck. She reminded him this second mock exam is a joint exam with 10 schools. It's full of experts. Among them, there will be no shortage of people with vicious methods. Be careful. The next day, Tianhui's worried voice rang out. Master, will we be at the same exam site? Heitan gripped the card tightly. Not sure. The exam sites are randomly assigned. Be safe. We'll meet at the finish line. He channeled his spiritual energy into the card. A golden light appeared. Let's go. The light from the formation shone on his determined face. A moment later, Heitan stared straight ahead. Before him was a forest filled with massive ancient trees, so tall they seemed to pierce the sky. He thought to himself, so this is the ancient forest secret realm. I've only ever read about it in the syllabus. Now that I'm here in person, The trees here are much bigger than I imagined. In the sky, a drone flew by. A camera and microphone were attached underneath. An announcement was made. The exam has begun. As the words faded, a large shadow blotted out, the sunlight catching Heitan's attention. In front of him was a 5th-level spirit demon realm bear demon. The bear demon roared, its huge arms swinging in for an attack. At that moment, he also clenched his fist and punched, meeting its blow head-on. His fist slammed into the bear demon's stomach. Its eyes went wide. Its entire body flew up. Then the bear demon slid far across the ground, leaving a long trail of blood. Another spirit demon was sent flying by a punch. Its eyes were wide open, and its tongue was hanging out. The person who just knocked it out was the 3rd-ranked student from Chibi No. 6 High School. Behind him, 2 girls jumped and cheered, "Young Master Junhao! Young Master Junhao is the GOAT! Young Master Junhao! Young Master Junhao is the GOAT!" That was No. 6 High School's 9th and 10th-ranked students, the twin sisters Sun Shang and Sun Xiang. He crossed his arms and smiled in response. The first monster is just a freebie. That last one wasn't even enough for a warm-up. He thought back to the image of Heitan. He couldn't help but think to himself, Heitan, I only lost to you in the first mock exam because I was careless. I'm not weaker than you, just you wait. Suddenly a low growl sounded from behind, making Junhao turn pale. He slowly turned his head. Behind him was a bear demon wearing glasses, at the 6th level of the condensation realm. Its glowing red eyes, the color of blood, made him scream. Those fierce eyes. Then his gaze shifted to the scars. And all these scars. He seemed wary and fearful. It's clear this monster is an extremely formidable opponent that has climbed to the top of the food chain. His aura is as strong as that mushroom monster's. Behind a rock, Sun Shang was amazed. Wow, young master is so cool. Facing such a strong monster, and he's still standing his ground. Sun Shang nodded. Totally. Junhao's legs wouldn't stop shaking. His face grew paler and paler. Why can't I move my legs? Is the psychological trauma from the last exam really that severe? Suddenly, something made the glasses-wearing bear demon look to its right. Then it bent its legs and ran fear on its face. Junhao was bewildered by the scene. Why did the monster run away? At this moment, Heitan rushed past him from behind. He ran so fast he created a gust of wind. He was startled and screamed, "What was that?" Looking at the dust in front of him, Junhao wondered, was that Heitan just now? Excitement overcame his fear and he gave chase. With a maniacal smile on his face, "My cute little bear, where do you think you're running?" On a tree was a deep indentation surrounded by bloodstains. On the ground were scattered rolling rocks, also stained with blood. Junhao slowly approached. A pool of blood caught his attention. His eyes widened and sweat poured down his face. This is... Ahead were the corpses of the monsters that Heitan had just chased. Their bodies all had a hole left by his fist. The scene before him made Junhao tremble. These dozen or so beasts are all elite monsters, with cultivation levels from the 5th to 6th level of the core condensation realm. And he just wiped them out so easily. And I naively thought I could compete with him a little. 2 shouts echoed through the forest. A holographic announcement appeared. Exam Section 1 has ended. Prepare for Exam Section 2, 72 out of 100 contestants remaining. Temporary rankings. Zhang Zhushi 200 points, Heitan 200 points, Wang Ping 198 points, Hua Tianhui 186 points, Mo Dun 180 points. A muscular young man looked up and marveled. Can you believe it? There are still people who turn a bonus question into a life-or-death question. That was Wang Ping, the top student from No. 8 High School. His voice was a bit deep. This second mock exam stipulates that only the top 10 students from each school's cohort can participate. You guys are really disgracing the title of your school's top 10. Then he turned to Tianhui. Wouldn't you agree, beautiful? She remained silent, turning her face away and ignoring him. Then she leaped up into a tree. Wang Ping looked up, following her movement. He smirked and raised his hands to form a seal. Shrink ground to inch. Instantly, he teleported behind her. Wang Ping kept talking non-stop. Earlier, when I watched you in the first part of the exam, I could already see you have great potential. Have you considered, after the exam is over, joining our sect? For someone with your exceptional talent, when I gain the qualification to accept disciples, the first thing I'll do is take you as my head disciple. Tianhai rolled her eyes in annoyance. She glanced back at him with a disdainful look. This guy first stole my monster kill, and now he's been following me around nagging for ages. So annoying. The system interface appeared. Exam Section 2 has begun. Hidden within the exam site are a number of armor-piercing claws. Collect a total of 10 armor-piercing claws to combine them into one armor-piercing spear. This will greatly increase the probability of defeating the Great Demon Gatekeeper. The scene shifts to a high altitude. A young man stood with his hands behind his back, his voice filled with contempt. Trying to be all mysterious? The Great Demon Gatekeeper. Isn't it just on that mountaintop? He shouted, "Wind riding and stepping technique!" A gust of wind appeared beneath his feet, lifting him up. He flew high into the air. His arms were enveloped by a whirlwind. That was Mo Dun, the top student from No. 7 High School. He smiled confidently. "I am the peerless genius of the Mo family. A genius. Who can ride the wind and fly before even reaching the Golden Core realm? What do I need an armor-piercing spear for? Watch me take the great demon's head directly." Standing before him was a 10th level core condensation realm. Ape demon, massive and fierce. Mo Dun's body was surrounded by a whirlwind. He waved his hand. Instantly, a powerful gust of wind carrying pebbles and stones shot towards the ape demon. What I thought the gatekeeper demon would be so tough. Turns out its cultivation level is only the same as mine. Wind-riding gale stonebreaker. The swirling winds were as sharp as blades, attacking the ape demon. Cuts from the wind appeared on the cliff face. With it as the center, a circular whirlwind swept up dust and rocks. The entire boulder was shattered by Mo Dun's attack. From a distance on a tree branch, Wang Ping was watching and said, "No way." Just like that, he won this bet. A moment later, Mo Dun hovered high in the air, hands behind his back, looking down at the dusty cloud of rocks and spoke arrogantly, "The points for this second exam section are mine." Suddenly, he sensed something, his brows furrowed in thought. "Suddenly, I feel an extremely powerful aura." Reacting instantly to it, Mo Dun flew away from that spot, his expression tense. A drop of cold sweat appeared on his forehead as he said, "Better keep my distance for now." From within the thick dust cloud, the ape demon shot out at an incredible speed, stretching its large hands towards Mo Dun. Mo Dun glanced back in surprise, his face frozen in fear. It's completely unharmed. Instantly, Mo Dun threw his hands forward, unleashing the wind-riding wind wall technique. Immediately after, the ape demon clapped its hands together, creating a gust of wind that flew towards him. But he managed to block it. The extremely powerful attack pushed back against Mo Dun, making him grimace in pain as beads of sweat formed on his forehead. The pressure from the two clashing blows created a massive explosion. Mo Dun was sent flying down to the ground by the blast. He crashed through several tree branches and hit the ground hard, sending dust and rocks flying. Where Mo Dun landed, a small crater formed. He lay sprawled out, his body convulsing, eyes closed and coughing up blood. Over here, the ape demon also landed right beside him, creating a large indentation in the ground. Wang Ping sat there, one hand on his leg, observing. "Idiot! This is what happens when you don't read the instructions." And that idiot even dragged the great demon down here. He looked at the ape demon and assessed it. Luckily, it seems like it won't attack proactively. His gaze drifted down to the great demon's sharp claws. "The armor-piercing claws are on this great demon. But to deal with it, you need to get the armor-piercing claws first. What kind of backwards-ass test is this, anyway?" Suddenly, Wang Ping's eyes widened as if he had realized something. "Wait a minute. I saw a few elite bear demons carrying armor-piercing claws before. They're rare, but if I put in the effort to hunt now..." At this moment, a brown bear demon with glowing red eyes appeared, swinging its fist as it charged forward. Instantly, he stood up and got into a fighting stance. It punched a hole through a tree trunk. Suddenly, a jet of water shot straight through the demon's chest. It froze in surprise, its eyes wide open. Blood spurted out and the demon fell backwards, sending dust flying everywhere. Wang Ping was still holding his attack pose. Water jet. He walked over to the demon's corpse and examined it. Not every elite bear demon has an armor-piercing claw. This thing is extremely rare. Let's see if this one is a winner. Holding an armor-piercing claw in his hand, Wang Ping sighed. This really isn't easy. I had to fight more than 10 elite monsters just to get one. From somewhere above Wang Ping, a figure flew past. He looked up. 3 armor-piercing claws were wrapped around the girl's waist. Seeing this, he was stunned, his mouth agape. I can't believe she has already found 3 of them. A surge of determination rose within him. He waved his arms and legs, unleashing a flurry of techniques and roaring loudly. I can't lose chaotic water spear strike. The thunderous sounds echoed throughout the forest. Not far away on a cliff, Junhao stood majestically. Suddenly a thud was heard, causing him to glance behind him. Tianhui on one knee reported with her head bowed. Master, your disciple has gathered 6 armor-piercing claws. If you don't have enough, you can take mine. Junhao turned back to look at her and replied calmly, I appreciate the thought, but it's not necessary. He bent down and swept one hand towards the sky, unleashing a tremendous amount of energy. He activated the technique pre-use armor-piercing spear. Tianhui standing beside him saw this and her expression tensed. At this moment, a long black spear appeared in Junhao's hand, radiating a powerful energy. A series of blows struck the bear squarely. It finally collapsed. Wang Ping approached to search it. He pulled out a fang and cheered happily, 9, I've got 9. Just one more to go. The system interface displayed the rankings. Rank 1, Wang Ping 9 out of 10. Rank 2, Zhang Zhushu 7 out of 10. Rank 3, Hua Tianhui 6 out of 10. Rank 67, Hai Tan Nil out of 10. As Wang Ping read, he said, That guy Heitan who solved that super hard bonus question. Turns out he's just a nobody. All bark and no bite. This time, the one who passes the second exam section will definitely be me. Suddenly, the system reported an error. Heitan has finished crafting the armor-piercing spear. After reading this, Wang Ping's jaw dropped. Standing nearby and watching him, Tianhui thought, "You can even pre-use this master is amazing." Elsewhere, Heitan was holding up 2 fingers, radiating power. That Mogai's wind-based magic just now was pretty cool. I checked they're all public domain versions. No copyright disputes involved, so I can pre-use them. The name of the technique was read out, pre-use wind-riding magic. To pre-use for Hua Tianhui. When he was done, he turned to look at Tianhui. The scoring rule for the second exam section is based on the damage each contestant deals to the Great Demon. In a bit, I'll whittle down the Great Demon's health until it's almost gone. Then you rush in and finish it off. That way, both of our scores will be the highest. She obeyed. Yes, sir. With that, Heitan, also holding a saber, jumped into the abyss. He descended incredibly fast. In the middle of the forest was a giant black silhouette. It was a colossal Great Demon. It sensed him and looked up. Then the Great Demon clasped its hands, creating an extremely large gust of wind. The whirlwind tore through the treetops as Heitan continued his descent. Facing the attack, he still charged forward with determination. Then Heitan kicked off to the side to create force. Immediately after, he flew high into the sky again. In the sky, under the bright sun, a single dazzling flash of light appeared. The Great Demon stared in astonishment. From the sky, he descended like a rocket, creating a shockwave that sent the Great Demon flying. Next, he swung his saber in a single motion. In front of the Great Demon, a cloud of dust billowed and charged forward. Suddenly, from within the cloud of smoke, the tip of a spear appeared, flying straight down. It quickly pierced through the Great Demon's abdomen, maintaining his stance. Heitan unleashed the magic Dark Underworld Lightning Law. Instantly, the space became blindingly bright. Dazzling lightning bolts appeared, channeling into the Great Demon's body. It gripped the spear tightly, pulled it out, and roared in agony. Then the Great Demon realized something was off and looked over in fear. Instantly, it was knocked flat on the ground. The technique was called out Imperial Wind Art. The blade was still stuck in the demon. Heitan, with a menacing look, shoved it 1,000 meters away. After the collision, the forest was filled with smoke and dust. Wang Ping, who was nearby, looked bored. Dare to steal my kill. Modun lay alone on the ground, trembling. Then he sat up, his head spinning. Did I get knocked out? Then Modun turned to see something that surprised him. Over there, a large tree was broken, kicking up a lot of dust. Nearby, Heitan, brimming with power, was attacking the giant demon. His appearance grew more fearsome as he attacked relentlessly. Thousands of slashes were unleashed, hacking into the Great Demon's stomach, sending blood flying. Heitan held the blade, pointing it forward. The blow pierced through the tree with immense force. The large, ancient tree broke and crashed to the ground. Seeing this, Heitan froze. He held his stance, the tip of his blade pointed at the tree, while the demon standing to the side had dodged the attack. Wang Ping witnessed this and smiled. That bear demon shrank itself, knew it couldn't dodge in time and blocking was useless, so it shrank to be more agile. Then he sneered. Let's see how you handle this, Heitan. If you can't finish it, I'm jumping in to steal the kill. Not giving up, Heitan changed direction, continuing to unleash thousands of slashes upon it. The Great Demon now raised its fist to counter. Heitan reacted, using his blade to block the punch. The force was immense. He was pushed back, thinking, even though this guy has shrunk, his attack power is still insane. His brows furrowed slightly. It's gathering ki into armor on its arm. I didn't see it use that before shrinking. This move probably isn't mastered yet, so it couldn't cover its entire giant body. Physical defense combined with magic defense. No wonder the test description said greatly increases the probability of passing and not guaranteed pass. With that thought, Heitan changed direction and climbed onto a rock ledge. Seeing this, the Great Demon pursued him closely. In response, his hands skillfully spun the blade in a circle. From there, he launched himself towards the Great Demon. Parthian shot. The Great Demon froze, facing this direct attack. It quickly activated the armor across its chest, which glowed with a golden light. As if anticipating everything, Heitan remained resolute. Advance pierced the throat. From that position, he launched himself with great force, stabbing straight into the monster's throat. A massive explosion occurred. The immense power tore through the rock crevices. Heitan slowly walked along a crossbeam towards the monster. He analyzed aloud. Trying to precisely control the health to leave exactly half is definitely not easy. But this remaining half a health bar is enough for Tianhui to finish off to pass the trial. And so Heitan turned back and called, "Tianhui, hurry up!" At that very moment, a figure quickly dashed past him. Heitan was startled, his eyes filled with confusion. Modun shouted maniacally, "Let me clean up this last bit of health!" Wind-controlled defensive blade. He gathered his power, creating great gusts of wind. After laughing maniacally, Mo-dun froze. Mo-dun stared blankly at the now empty, slippery cliff face. He turned around to see Tian-Hui had already taken the black bear. She held out her hand, casting the spell, Wind Control Wind Cut. Immediately, the system reported Bear Demon Casa has been defeated. Mo-dun was stunned. Object control and now wind control. There's also a technique I've never even heard of. He thought, one by one, how does everyone know wind control? You lowlifes, you're not worthy of using a high-level magic like the Mo families. Our families, Mo-dun stepped forward and said, I just dozed off for a moment, and you guys already stole my kill. The remaining health bar of that bear behind you is mine. Tian-Hui retorted playfully, you only mentioned sleeping. As for why you were sleeping, you don't dare say a word, do you? Hearing the accusation, he immediately flew into a rage, veins popping on his face. Among all the candidates here, you two are the lowest of the low. You have no sect background to support you. I couldn't even find out if you two are connected to any significant figures. You two rogue cultivators. Even if I kill you here, the proctor won't say a thing. She looked at him with disgust. That disgusting smirk. One half of his face appeared before Tian-Hui's eyes, looking incredibly sinister. That expression was exactly like an old acquaintance from her past. A moment later, her eyes narrowed. Execution mark. Tian-Hui, radiating immense killing intent, rushed forward. Hayton beside her shouted, Tian-Hui don't kill other candidates in the exam room. Mo-dun replied scornfully. What did you say? A lowlife like her wants to kill a genius like me. Then he defended himself in midair, wind control defensive shield. Tian-Hui didn't stop. She continued to charge straight into the wind barrier. Mo-dun laughed confidently. This wind shield has effectively fused with my magic power. Its defense is impenetrable. But before he could finish gloating, he saw her right in front of him. Mo-dun started to panic. How did she get in here? Afterward, as if a great burden had been lifted, Tian-Hui breathed a sigh of relief. The sword in her hand spun a few more times, and then Tian-Hui slammed it hard into Mo-dun's stomach. The force was so incredible it sent him flying a great distance. Mo-dun flew straight through a tree trunk, leaving a huge gash. He flew over and said, that was close. I thought you were really going to chop him up. Good thing you used the flat of the blade. She said, annoyed. The proctor is in the exam room. Killing another candidate just like that would be a huge pain. But I've remembered that execution mark. System notification. This mock exam has concluded. Here are the final rankings. Heitan Tian-Hui Wangping. Tian-Hui was worried. I only have 6 armor-piercing claws. I'm still missing 4. Heitan reassured her. No problem, I'll go farm them now. Suddenly, Wang Ping spoke up. I have a few here, you can have them all. He asked, you don't need them anymore. This item is a top-tier material for crafting weapons. He laughed. You and classmate Tian-Hui snagged all the points. What's the point of me keeping the quest items? My family isn't short on weapon materials either. Might as well go with the flow and give them to you. Hey, handsome, let's talk privately for a moment. Let's leave the exam room first. He was hesitant. What are you planning? I'm straight, you know. The system chimed. Collected 1010 armor-piercing claws. Supplementary mission Advance Armor-Piercing Spear has been completed. Later in the building, Wang Ping's voice echoed. I've invited you two here today, mainly because I see you both as rare talents. He sat down and began speaking seriously. Just hear me out. Whether it's for the university exams or later on, when you enter society to become a corporate slave, the ultimate goal is to join a major sect. Normally, modern sects don't directly recruit high school students, but now there's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that can save you both 55 years of struggle. As the son of the sect master of the Body Forging sect, one of the current top 10 major sects, his son, and the destined future successor of the sect, I sincerely invite you two to join. Hayton slowly refused. We already have a sect. Instantly upon hearing this, Wang Ping turned to stone on the spot. He pointed to her. This is my disciple. Tian-Hui replied, this is my master. His face turned cold. What a waste of my grand speech. What's the name of your sect? Right. Suddenly remembering, she asked. By the way, I forgot to ask what our sect's name is. Master, please tell him loud and clear what our sect is called. Hearing Master, Hayton froze and replied, we're screwed. He shouted worriedly, I forgot to register the sect. Hearing this, Tian-Hui immediately fell backward in shock, while Wang Ping slammed his hand on the table and burst out laughing. His laughter was so loud it echoed through the entire building. A long while later, in a high-rise building, Hayton walked up and stood before the elevator doors. Meanwhile, Mo-dun was watching him on a security monitor. He gritted, his teeth veins bulging on his face. People were chatting lively. I didn't expect the registration process to be so smooth. Yeah, I thought it would be a huge hassle. Hayton walked up to room number 7. He-Sing saw him approach and asked, what procedure are you here for? Hayton declared, I want to register a sect. The person quickly asked for his name. Right after he answered, Heitan. He-Ching's face went pale. His hand trembling, he asked, "Do you have a letter of recommendation from a major sect?" Heitan replied coolly, "No." He-Ching continued, "Have you broken through to the Golden Core realm yet?" Heitan replied, "I'm about to." The registrar immediately rejected him. "So that's a no." Heitan angrily tapped the counter. "Look, man," he asked further, "do you have a Sect Master trial certificate?" He shouted, "What the hell is that?" He-Ching explained, "You enter the designated secret realm as a Sect Master, and to complete the trial, and then receive the Sect Master trial certificate." Heitan argued back, "But you have to let me register the sect first, so that I can have the status of a Sect Master to complete the trial, right?" "I don't care." "You must complete the trial first, before you can register the sect." His eyes grew fierce as he emphasized "you." Seeing that power, he started to get scared. He quickly swallowed. Then Heitan angrily slammed the door and stormed out. He-Ching let out a sigh of relief. I thought he was going to lose it. After all, he's a 10th level core condensation cultivator. Suddenly, a voice came from behind. "A lowlife with a bit of power is nothing to be afraid of." He-Ching saw the person approaching and called out, "Cousin?" Modun said maniacally. "So what if he's a 10th level core condensation? During the second mock exam, didn't he almost lose to me?" He-Ching helplessly reminded him in a low voice he almost lost. And then, He-Ching glanced down at the numerous wounds on Modun's stomach and his heavily casted hand. He gave a thumbs up and said sarcastically, "Cousin, you're so amazing." The first two conditions were already enough to block him. But the third condition, originally after the preliminary review, you would receive a temporary Sect Master certificate to go and complete the trial. Then you'd come back for the final review to receive the official Sect Master certificate. Just now, I deliberately changed the requirement to target him. This move has completely blocked any possibility of him establishing a sect. Modun was smug. "Surprise, Heitan, the registration office is full of my family. You messed with me, so I'll make your life difficult forever." A long while later, at the high-rise where Heitan lived, he began. "What are the prerequisites for breaking through to the Golden Core?" Tianhui replied. "First, you have to cultivate to the 10th level of core condensation. Master has already met that requirement. You also need to consume blazing flame mushroom and frostbone grass. Both of these are rare medicinal ingredients. You have to enter a high-level secret realm to gather them." Heitan worked on the computer. "Let me check if these ingredients and the Sect Master trial are related. Try to get it all done in one go." "Found one. There's a Sect Master trial secret realm where there are past records of gathering a blazing flame mushroom and frostbone grass. This is it. But this secret realm is on another sect's territory. To get there, the only way is to join their team." She looked too. "But their group requirement is looking for party for the Impermanent Secret Realm Sect Master trial. Requires one Sect Master who has completed the trial." Yi Hung asked curiously, "Bro, how much longer do we have to wait for people? I'm dying of impatience." Yu Bing reassured her, "Babe, don't rush. I just got one." Su Zhen reminded them, "He's here." She complained, "Bro, what kind of person did you call? Why is it a student? He clearly doesn't meet the group requirements." He asked, "Hey kid, did you read the group conditions carefully?" Heitan calmly replied, "I read them carefully." Su Zhen was skeptical. "You need this official Sect Master token to join the group. A student like you wouldn't have one." Heitan secretly cast a spell. "I do. Of course I do. Wait a sec, let me find it." He joked, "Are you bluffing? Where would a high school student like you get one?" The system appeared. "Advance official Sect Master token." Heitan took out the card. "See freshly minted Sect Master token." Afterwards, Su Zhen slowly cast the formation to open the door. Instantly, a cave opened in the middle of the cliff face. Su Zhen prompted, "Let's all go." Heitan marveled, "So this is the entrance." A hidden secret realm opened with a special incantation. He explained, "These secret realms are all important assets of the sect. Outsiders can't just enter as they please." Heitan asked curiously, "Let me ask something. Is it very rare for high school students to establish their own sects?" Su Zhen replied, "It's quite rare now. Before, you could apply as long as you reached the core condensation realm. For example, the Ying sect, no idea who wiped them out. Their sect master was Ryuzaki Suichi. When he applied to establish it, he had just broken through to core condensation. Back then, it was still approved. But now the competition is too fierce, so the entry threshold has been raised. In principle, anyone below the Golden Core realm won't be approved, unless you have a letter of recommendation from a major sect. In that case, you might get special consideration. A normal high school student, how could they reach the Golden Core realm? You must have a letter of recommendation from some major sect." "Right. You've got some connections." Heitan laughed awkwardly to brush off the topic. Yi Hung pleaded, "You too? This time you have to help me complete the trial. For Sect Master. Su-Jen guaranteed, "Don't worry. I'll definitely carry you through." Yu Bing added, "That's right. With the two of us strong guys here, what's there to worry about?" Hayton sized them up. "I see. So it's two people carrying one. No wonder for a secret realm that clearly only needs 3 people. They insisted on bringing one more. They're looking for a fool to be the meat shield. Whatever, as long as it doesn't interfere with me completing my mission." The system appeared. Mission to complete Advance the Sect Master token. He silently activated his power. Advanced to Golden Core Realm. Status panel. You can now assign most of your deferred advance missions for your disciple to complete. Hayton was pleased. "Perfect. Tianhui also needs to complete her wind control art training. I'll just assign this to her as well." System Supplementary Mission Wind Control Art has been assigned to Tianhui. She looked at him and asked, "How strong is that outsider?" He replied with disdain, "Look at that dazed expression of his. What kind of strength could he possibly have? Let's use the intersect telepathy. Don't worry. He's just cannon fodder. We won't let him affect our plan." Su-Jen directed them. 3 branching cave entrances. Yi Hong was surprised. "Haven't you guys been through here before?" "Why does it seem like your first time?" he replied. "Why do you think this place is called the Impermanent Secret Realm? Each time you enter, the terrain changes randomly, adding a lot of unpredictable factors. Otherwise, why would this place be designated as a secret realm?" And for the Sect Master trial, at that moment Su-Jen's eyes glowed. Divine sense. A bottomless black hole appeared, sucking in a strong wind. He pointed and said, "Hey, handsome, I've scouted for you. The cave in the middle has the lowest difficulty. We'll take a small loss and give it to you." After that, Hayton went into the dark cave alone. He said viciously, "See, this idiot is really easy to trick." She chimed in, "It's because of idiots like him that our plan succeeds." Time and time again. Yi Hong marveled. "How much harder is the cave he went into than ours?" Su-Jen replied, "It's a world of difference. Our left cave has no mobs. We just need to take out the boss and we're done." When I was scouting just now, I even sensed a familiar demonic aura. That means it's something I've dealt with before, so it's a sure thing. But the middle cave entrance is completely different. I sensed a whole bunch of strange demonic auras. That means the monsters in there are not only strong, but also numerous. That kid's Sect Master token. That must have been gotten through. He pulling some strings. Just look at that green face, you can tell he's a total noob with no real combat experience. Encountering a scene like this, he might just piss his pants. At that moment, Hayton was calmly striding through the cave alone. Suddenly, something in the darkness caught his attention. Something's there. Immediately after, an arrow silently flew straight towards Hayton. He casually deflected the arrow with his hand, changing its course. Hayton looked into the distance and realized that there, his hand behind him gathered spiritual energy. Wind control void-shattering palm. Finally, Hayton unleashed a palm strike that shook the 3 realms. His power was so terrifying that a massive boulder was sent flying. A monster slowly revealed itself in the darkness. Its body, struck by Hayton's blow, was split in 2. System report. Umbral Mushroom Demon Archer Core Condensation. Realm Level 5 has been defeated. He remarked, "An invisible monster. I almost got hit by that arrow. Good thing I got a taste of the Golden Core Realm beforehand. My ability to sense demonic energy is much sharper." Immediately after, Hayton's eyes narrowed once again. He reacted quickly, catching the incoming arrow. And then Hayton's other hand continued to channel magical power. A blow was unleashed with a massive amount of violent power. Another invisible monster was blasted to pieces. Hayton's stance did not relax. He remained extremely guarded. Sparks flew from his calves. Another monster swarmed towards him. Finally, Hayton drew his weapon and slashed. He spoke coolly. "From a distance, it's one thing, but how could I not notice killing intent this close?" Hayton's blade pierced through its body. Then it grew larger, striking the monsters in the distance. He moved quickly, gradually closing in on them. Suddenly, Hayton's entire body froze, his eyes wide with surprise. The blade in his hand danced from left to right. At a dizzying speed, Hayton spun it in a large circle, sweeping through the space. Splashes of monster blood flew outwards, then scattered everywhere. In addition, there was movement. He was once again surrounded by invisible monsters. At that moment, the air seemed to freeze. Meanwhile, an energy was rushing towards Hayton from above. The arrows flew, but were all shattered by a single spin of his spear. "One by one, huh?" Hayton cursed. "A bunch of cowards who only know how to snipe from the shadows." Finally, he slammed a powerful blow into the ground, shaking it. A strong wind snaked through every nook and cranny of the cave. The entire space became eerie as horrifying sounds emerged. The invisible monsters were in a state of frenzy, being swept around by the spiritual power. They whispered, "This massive tornado looks impressive, but it turns out it has 0 damage, so that's it. Is this all a cultivator can do?" With their guard down, Hayton appeared behind them and said, "But now I've caught you. It turned and tried to retaliate by shooting an arrow, but he casually used his hand to change its trajectory. The ground cracked with more and more purple crystals appearing. A dense crowd of invisible monsters appeared clinging to the cliff walls. All the arrows they shot down were destroyed by Heitan. The entire chaotic scene was captured in the eyes of a small paper figurine. It used its small body to peek and watch. Sujin received the image and frowned. "This is," Yihong asked from the side. "What happened? Is that idiot still alive?" He replied, "The original plan was to push him out as cannon fodder and scout the path. See what kind of monsters there are and what their moves are, so that when we go in later we'll know how to plan." "Who would have thought this brat would pass the stage so easily?" Yu Bing said. "The plan changes. We're not dealing with this Demon King here anymore. Lure this Demon King over to that idiot's location." He immediately took out a glowing axe from his hand, and then Yu Bing threw it with great force, sending it spinning. A moment later it stopped on a crimson rock. At that instant the volcano activated and began to erupt. Sensing the situation, Heitan's face immediately turned cold. At this time around, the pillars were red slash marks. It was the scene of Heitan trying to eliminate the purple monster. After finishing, he leaned on his staff and sighed. Suddenly, Heitan froze when he saw the blood on his neck. He quickly dodged, causing white streaks to appear on the ground. A powerful horizontal slash along with splattering drops of blood. Heitan looked at the cut on his neck and thought, "I only realized it when it grazed my neck. This attack wasn't from those grunt soldiers. If I hadn't reacted quickly, my head would be gone." Instantly, he used his staff to draw a circle on the ground. A defensive barrier was quickly created. Outside the barrier, winds began to appear. Suddenly, a purple crystal shot up, stabbing down hard on the barrier. Heitan's hand emitted a red energy flow. The ground beneath the purple monster's feet began to crack. A giant fist emerged, breaking through the rock and soil, then reached out as if to grab something. But the purple monster gradually vanished, transforming into a blue energy stream that wrapped around the arm. Then it returned to its original form and charged straight at Heitan, slashing wildly around the barrier, sending debris flying. Heitan inside the barrier frowned. "It's deafening. Will you shut up?" Then he activated his skill, Dark Brilliance Convex. He created an explosive orb, startling the purple monster. Suddenly, an explosion occurred that shook the heavens and the earth. But the purple monster still managed to escape. Heitan was angry. Even a chain lightning combo didn't hit. "Among all the monsters I've ever met, this one is the fastest." On the other side, the purple monster thought, "That protective circle is really tough. Normal slashes do nothing. Breaking it from the outside is impossible. So what about the ground inside the barrier?" With that thought, the purple monster began to gradually dissipate, becoming a stream of blue energy flying in the air. Heitan immediately looked towards that blue energy source, on full alert. Suddenly, a sword shot up from under the ground. Heitan was shocked, his eyes wide open. In an instant, the purple monster used its sword to slice him in half. Heitan's face was split in two, leaving him standing there stunned. The purple monster sneered, "I see. The flaw in this barrier is at your feet." But the monster suddenly froze. "A stone substitute. Damn it, it's a trap." Instantly, the purple monster jumped back down to the ground, but was blocked by Heitan's barrier. Now Heitan and the purple monster stood together inside the barrier. The purple monster frowned. "So you deliberately didn't set up the barrier under your feet to lure me in here. But in such a confined space, fighting me with a long spear is basically suicide." At this moment, Heitan's body radiated a red energy as he said, "Who says you have to use a weapon to fight monsters? 100 refined steel rock technique." The purple monster charged, its voice full of arrogance. "Later, if you can't keep up, don't even think about opening the barrier to run." Got it. It slashed at Heitan, but he blocked it. He continuously dodged the purple monster's attacks. At this moment, Heitan grabbed the purple monster's hand. The purple monster still tried to unleash a combo. Heitan slammed his fist into the ground. A golden energy wave erupted, knocking the sword from the purple monster's hand, which surprised it. What? Heitan was about to punch it, but the purple monster had turned into blue energy. Heitan laughed. "Can't win, so you turned invisible and ran away. What's wrong? Need me to open the barrier to make it easier for you to run." At this moment, the purple monster's silhouette was behind him. It thought, "Damn it. Right now, I just want to flay him alive. But I won't fall for that trap again. I'll just stand here and see what you can do. Your piddly wind cloaking trick you used on those grunts is useless against me. My cloaking is much more advanced." A red orb formed in Heitan's palm. His voice was threatening. "Still not coming out." The purple monster saw this and was terrified. "No way. He's planning to use that in such a confined space. Isn't he afraid of getting caught in the blast?" Instantly, Heitan threw the red orb onto the ground. In a flash, the orb exploded, shaking the heavens and the earth. The purple monster, injured and in pain, managed to escape. It thought, "I poured all my demonic energy into defending and I was still this badly injured. That kid must be badly hurt too. Besides, the barrier has been dispelled. I can continue to hide. It wondered in confusion, why can't I use my cloaking? At this moment, Haitan had grabbed its hair. The purple monster, Hayton said. Where are you going? Let's keep playing. The purple monster thought in fear. Why is he completely unharmed? At that moment, Haitan, with a determined look in his eyes, prepared to punch the purple monster.